futures are mixed to start things off so far this morning, erasing early gains at this point, heading back to the downside despite some underlying positivity this morning as the 7-day average for COVID-19 cases in the U.S. hit its lowest level since September back on Friday. So we are moving in the right direction as far as case counts are concerned. That has some of the reopening type stocks in positive territory, although a lot of them are coming back to the downside. Travel related names specifically showing early strength this morning, offsetting that. Tech stocks and anything growth related, once again, as we saw to end last week, back in negative territory, including some of the big name chip makers. We'll talk a little bit about them down right across the board at this point. The 10-year Treasury bouncing back this morning as well, back to 1.49. Its highest level since way back in June, if you remember. So a little more underlying strength coming through to the 10-year Treasury. Crypto stocks also back in play this morning. We had quite the end to last week and then the weekend as well, back to the upside for Bitcoin. We'll talk about some of those. Airbnb shares as well, a little bit active here after a JP Morgan initiation at neutral for JPM. It's Monday, September 27th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. As I mentioned there, the NASDAQ tech stocks leading back to the downside here, 0.96 already. The Dow basically break even, trying to hold on to positive territory. S&P futures as well. They've done nothing but go straight down since I sat down this morning. So now 0.4 back in negative territory. Look at crude oil there, 2% to the upside. Big move in crude. That has oil stocks showing some strength here in the pre-market. Bitcoin and Ethereum, as I mentioned, in positive territory, although Bitcoin as well. Trying to make a move back to the downside. Also, good morning, guys. It's Monday, brand new week. Interesting look here this morning. We had that decent-sized gap to the upside for futures, but here we go again. As we've seen over the past couple of days, we open higher and then kind of fade back to the downside.
Well, the good news is, and welcome everybody to a brand new week, is the last time, if memory serves, that we were sitting down starting the show with the NASDAQ down 0.8%, everything ended up pretty rosy.
Right.
Such as was the result for your Packers there, Sean. So who knows? Like maybe we're gonna.
Yeah, where's that guy that was putting those score? He even paid. He paid a couple bucks for that super chat. Thanks.
I don't see him now.
Thanks for the super chat.
I don't see him there. But it was 33.24. You was called.
Yeah. 33. Yeah, Neil's mic is off. Okay. Yeah, we're just talking about the Packers game, guys. Hopefully everyone has had a good Sunday. And Neil and I just going back and forth. We will fix his mic in a second, and we'll get going on that. But yeah, look, we're coming in today to an interesting market. Market's down almost 1%. Neil was mentioning last time we were, we thought there was blood in the streets. We actually rebound quite nicely. So we'll have to wait to see what happens here. I wrote down a key level for Apple, AAPL here, looking like it wants to break. It's on my sticky note here, and if charts will load up, which they will, you can see here we're looking at a 20-minute range right here. I'm very, very nervous about Apple giving up this 145. So if Apple gives up this 145, we bounced off there Thursday, we bounced off there Friday, and then we'll see what happens today. But I'm looking at Apple through 145. So we'll see. Yeah, Raiders. Wow, what a great game that was. Miami versus Las Vegas. Can't believe that was so close at the end. And then we saw the record kick, the field goal, 66 yards there from Justin Tucker to take out the Ravens, which was very, very for the Ravens to take out the Lions, which is good because the NFC North, the Lions, and the Bears look horrible. Justin Fields. I don't know. Is Neil ready to rock and roll here? Because if he is, we can test.
Testing. See, it's because no one wants to hear me talk about the Bills all day long, apparently.
Let me see. I don't know. No one's saying anything. Let us know if you can hear Neil's mic, but we'll go throw it back to Brendan and let us know if you just heard Neil right there, guys.
All right, we'll figure that out and maybe get maybe get Neil. A wireless mic might work a little bit better, guys. Beyond Meat just popped up here, a headline for BYND. Not a ton of volume here so far, but 1.2% regardless right out of the gate. I'll show you the headline here. They are launching a meatless, or they're launching an expansion to their meatless chicken product here. So Beyond Meat just releasing that, so 1.2%, as I said, for BYND. We'll have a look at that coming up. Before we do, let's get over to, maybe you should throw that mic across the room. Yeah, maybe throw it right across the room into the garbage can. Let's get over to Miss B and say good morning.
Good morning, team. Happy Trading Monday to you all. I wish you a wonderful and profitable start of this week. Please make sure you like this video and let's get it started, Brandon.
Let's indeed get it started, guys. We have a few things to talk about here in the pre-market. Any thoughts here, guys? I know we look at Beyond Meat every once in a while. I mean, it's not a huge move, but again, BYND announcing they're debuting their Beyond Chicken Tenders for $4.99. So Beyond Meat getting into the chicken tenders game.
Yeah.
You're already screwing it up as far as I'm concerned.
Hold those chicken tendies. The only thing on chicken tendies is supposed to be Wendy's with the chicken tendies.
Look, you got to come in. You got to make it sound a little bit better.
How's
than
the plaid?
chicken
Everyone
tenders.
liking the plaid today?
You know what's hilarious? Both my wife and daughter were wearing plaid yesterday, and I realized that I don't even own a plaid shirt. So it's like, then you come in with the plaid.
I've only owned
like,
this one for like 20 years, so.
Seriously?
I haven't updated my wardrobe in forever. The wife just has to go out and buy some clothes. Maybe we have Costco got upgraded here. Maybe I'll go get a nice Kirkland shirt or something, but we'll see.
Okay, well, I mean, we'll talk a little bit about Beyond Meat. Like we said, I think we said this last week. Beyond Meat was trying to make a bit of a breakthrough, like 115, 116. Until it gets there, great, lower high, that's fine. But it's been under a lot of pressure recently, and I think you sort of look at the trend. You want the trend to get broken before you get excited about it. So maybe if they'd called them tendies, that would maybe we'd be up another $5 and looking to break that 116 level. As such, I don't know how exciting it gets. I'm fairly certain that if it would ever get back to that 100 level, that'll be an interesting place to buy, especially on the day trade, given how it acted down there last time. But I need to see it break out. I think a lot of names are sort of in this range where it seems easier to either be patient on the dip or just simply wait for it to start going. And when it catches that breakout, it can be off to the races again. But pre-market volume is relatively low. I don't know if this catalyst is really doing it. And you guys didn't miss too much of what I said in the beginning. I was sort of mentioning the last time we were down 0.8 or 0.9% in the morning, and coming in on a day like this, the markets actually reacted and sort of recovered rather well. So maybe we'll get a little bit of that today. You are seeing tech approaching that 1% mark, but hey, we've been here before, and it wasn't all doom and gloom.
I like this extra pressure. It looks like the shirt that Ice Cube wore when he was fighting Debo there. That was hilarious. That was
what? I knew it.
I like that.
I knew it was familiar. It is.
Yeah,
it's the same,
well,
basically. Yeah.
That's how I am, man. Friday part 4.
Get the brick.
Yeah, exactly. So, nobody knows stealing no bikes around here, boys. Okay, so. This is too much. Okay. Look, Brandon, I like the tendies, and I like everything they're doing. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Beyond Meat to begin with. I know the wife likes Beyond Meat. We'll see what happens here. They have Beyond Sausage, Beyond Fish, Beyond Chicken Tendies, Beyond Meat. So we'll see what happens right here. I think it's good that they're adding to their repertoire. They are right near the bottom of all this, so we'll just wait to see what happens. But I think it's worth picking up, and you can always get out if it breaks 100.
Is there actually a Beyond Fish product? That would be very strange if there was a Beyond Fish product. Today was the first day, guys. I don't know if you thought so as well, but today was the first day here in Toronto. It felt a little more like fall, Sean, so I think that shirt is very fitting because it was definitely a fall feeling out there today. Yeah, exactly. Let's talk chip makers. There's a headline out on China this morning threatening to curb production further and power outages or power limitations further for production. So all of these chip makers, guys, under a little bit of pressure today. NVIDIA, AMD, AVGO, QCOM. I mean, take your pick. The entire group to the downside in the pre-market here.
Although I distinctly remember hearing somewhere that it might be, and it might be time to buy a certain chip maker. I don't know. I remember hearing it somewhere.
There might be a video about it.
There might be a video. We did a video this weekend. It was, is it time to buy this chip maker? We talked a little bit about AMD. We talked about Xilinx Steel. Sometimes, and again, down 1%, shopping cart time could be in there. Certainly if you're down to 100 level. And we'll talk about AMD just because it has this awesome 107 level we pointed out last week, which I think could come into play this week. Not necessarily right here in the morning because we're down back at this 105, but you got your 50 period. You also have
if you go to like just a 15-minute chart here, you're going to see a 104.50 level. And what's interesting about this is you had multi-day, and it's called Thursday and Friday. I know in the morning it wicked down below, got like 104, but for the most part it held up this 104.50 level, and you're going to retest that in the open. I kind of feel like if that level breaks, you're hunting for a dip, maybe 102.50, 103 if things get out of hand. I'd much prefer to be dip buying today than anything else and jamming into a short, but it does set up, at least for the time being, with a double top at that. Well, it's more than a double top at 107 because we saw on the daily chart it's multiple days. But that 104.50, it does lend itself to a little bit of a break, and you could get a wipeout. But the last time it wiped out through this level, essentially went down 50 or 60 cents and then retested 107, and that was just on Thursday. So I'd much rather be buying dips in AMD here and take a shot in that regard, guys. We know this is likely to drag out longer than people expected with the chip shortages, but at the end of the day, sometimes it's more about the long-term play. I'll certainly be anticipating that there might be that dip. I wouldn't buy it off the open. I would wait for 107 break whenever we get it, and then I would look down to 102.5 or so on the dip buy if it even gets there.
Yeah, what's up to a few people? And we've been talking about AMD for a long time. We've been loving that for a while. Hey, what's up, Toby? Hey ho from Germany. Hey ho from Canada. Toronto, Ontario, Canada is where Neil and I and Brendan and the whole Trader TV Live team are sitting to bring you this exciting show. Okay, here we go. What about some NVIDIA here? So we talked about there's only two chip names that I would like. So this is the other thing. With China right now flexing its muscle on Taiwan, I'm wondering if that's going to affect obviously the production of some of these chips, as Taiwan Semi makes AMD chips. There's Micron as well getting involved. So, I wonder if that's going to have a little bit of a downdraft on some of these, like an eyelashes, a downdraft here on some of these names. So I look to pick up, just like we could pick up some AMD on weakness. I think it's the same type of thing here. Anything back to 200, for NVIDIA is a great take. You were just back to 192 about a month ago. You ripped up to 230, making new all-time highs off the recent split. So I like NVIDIA as well. I think there's some opportunities there as it's dripping down today, down that 1.37%. So if there's anything that you're looking for, I mean, I'm already in, almost fully invested. I mean, I did take some off, so there is room to buy more AMD for sure. I told you that I wasn't really interested in buying anything this week. I thought maybe next week would be the first time that I step in to buy, and I think with the market being down almost 1%, hopefully it gives us some buying opportunities. We don't want the market to go down too far, but I do have the shopping list out. And I mean, look at this, NVIDIA, nice couple of days here, so a little bit of a pullback in. We know NVIDIA is going to be strong when the market turns around. So this is a name that I'm looking to pick up as well, Brendan. NVIDIA, anywhere around 200 is going to be a buy for me.
Yeah, speaking of the overall market here, thoughts, guys, initially. I mean, we spoke in depth last week. We put a video out over the weekend as well on this Evergrande thing. I mean, there's absolutely no, from what I see anyways, additional information coming in this morning as far as any developments. There was that deadline of Thursday last week that was apparently missed, but nothing came of that. As you said, Sean, the market three days to the upside to end last week. We're back lower again this morning. Coming into this prior area. This is just the S&P, guys, the SPY, obviously, but no update whatsoever. Going into the weekend, it seemed like there was definitely going to be some follow through as far as this Evergrande thing is concerned. But what's new here to discuss?
When it comes to that, I mean, not
China.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing new. There's nothing new to discuss when it comes down to Evergrande. I don't think. I mean, ultimately, whether they paid or not, this was never going to be a done deal soon. You're not technically in default, even if they didn't pay. You still have like 30 days or so, and they have tons of other debt down the line, and it's risk inside of China more than anything else. Certainly, there was some, I guess, small threat of contagion as well, and there was some concerns how they could affect the crypto markets, which, I don't know, holding up pretty nicely. I mean, Ethereum's back over 3,000 here. You got Bitcoin holding up well above that 42 level. And, I guess it's not... I feel like the market was just looking for reasons because everything was at those tops and everyone kept talking about the correction, and maybe it was one of those where it got blown up a little bit and became more of a story, at least in the short term, because obviously it's real if you actually hold any Evergrande debt. I'll tell you that much. Like you're not certainly happy about things right now, but at the end of the day, the market's going to move to beat of their own drum. We're probably going to be talking about the recovery a little bit more than anything else, and talking about some of the shortages in fuel when it comes to England. I mean, like, it's kind of crazy what's going on over there, but that's going to be our focus, and maybe this rears its ugly head again. I don't know if that's going to be in the short term or the long term. Who knows, guys? But let's. I think it's just about focusing on how tech does today after what looks like was going to be another weekday. We're trying to make a little bit of a bottom here, and then let's see how the travel names do, because I think the reopen is still the bigger part of the picture.
Yeah, I'm just going to go over to FXI here, because I don't know if we're ever going to find out the real payments, if they're ever made, or what was happening. And that's why I said about China there. It wasn't about to get political. It's just I don't know if we're ever going to find out what the story truly is behind Evergrande. And we talked about that over and over again. So I just look at FXI and try not to catch a falling sword here. You are right at the bottom of where we've been. So this is the Chinese 100. I mean, it's a Chinese big cap ETF. I keep calling it 100, but it's a Chinese large cap ETF. They have Tencent, I believe, is their largest holding. A few other names in there: Baba, JD, Bilibili, Baidu. We went over the list, and maybe I'll find the list for you in a minute again. But I think if you're going to buy anything in all of this, I think it's one of these. But the only problem is if you buy the ETF, you're not getting the exposure to an Alibaba. So if there is, you're getting exposure, but if there is that rebound, and I don't know what's going to spark the rebound, which is why I'm not super excited about this trade. I actually don't have a position in FXI, but you're not going to get the same rebound that you would in Alibaba. I mean, Alibaba's been, I think this one, if you can get back up to 42, right, that's about 10% from 38 to 42. So, we'll take that all the way back to the top would be great. Alibaba, if there is any sort of concessions made from the US, we saw with Huawei and actually both Michaels, we talked about this last show as well, came back to Canada. So hopefully there's some olive branches being, given out now, so that's nice. And Alibaba bounced back. I think you can get back to the 50 period, so that's 170, 180. So from 140 up to 180, you're getting a much better return, but the risk is here in Alibaba and not as much in FXI. So, this has just been straight to the downside. I think it's one of the highest quality companies in China from what I've heard and what I've read. So I would, if you're going to bottom pick, you could do it with Alibaba, but hey, I sort of thought this 200 would hold, let alone 190, if you go back, and then it's just, I can't even pull the daily chart back too much because it's just nasty. From 320, basically, they kidnapped Jack Ma, and then now all of a sudden, and we just joke, Jack Ma's been found. All the way down to the downside now, 145. I thought this would hold here, 170, it didn't. So that's where we need to get back to before I'm interested. But yeah, Evergrande continues, Brendan, to just sort of be a sore patch on the market. I believe if it wasn't around, this market wouldn't be having these negative downturns right now. So let's see if we can just get through it and continue to buy U.S. equities over Chinese.
Yeah, and it was obviously the major catalyst. Remember, we sat here, a week ago today, and that was the big gap down on Monday, and we just bounced, obviously, all week last week. There's another EV name coming to a market near you, guys. We mentioned this story way back in June, I want to say, or July, early summer anyways. Polestar here making it official today. Going to go public through a merger with this Gores Guggenheim, GGPI. Yeah, it's a SPAC, I know. 20 billion valuation here for Polestar, another EV stock coming to a market near you, guys.
Well, don't sound too excited there, Brennan. Yeah, we did talk about this one previously.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so it's already sort of come off here a little bit. You have that $10, I guess, theoretical support level when you have some of these SPACs, and we can maybe get to that in 25 cents or so. But certainly, a lot of times it's been like a sell the news type of event. So this gapped up and already sold the news down 50 cents. It's barcoding in the pre-market, and the volume has been pretty decent. A lot of it was some dark pool dumps, but it's pretty decent above that $10 level. It sort of feels to me, with this lack of interest, okay, like maybe a quick little buy the dip and hold to 10 is the play here, or buy like a tight break at the open and then hold to 10 could be the level. Either one of those kind of work. I just want to see something moving a little bit. When I'm sitting here looking at Vinco Ventures, testing the high again and a great level at 7, looks like it's going to be holding up there, and then you got this RCAD, and there just seems like there's going to be more to play around with. Even Lucid has been pretty active, and we've been looking at some good levels on Lucid the last couple of weeks, and I do feel like that's going to be in play as well. So if this continues to barcode into the open, I see absolutely nothing. If it does give you a chance to just simply take a shot in front of 10 even, why not? But this is a pretty crowded space, so the fact that it's already started to sell off a little bit on announcement day, pretty much par for the course.
We'll talk a little bit about crypto here because I want to thank for the super chat here. Who was it here? It was I'm a noob trader. Hey, so am I.
Nice.
Let's get wordy on that one. But if you're a noob trader, that's cool. And I realize obviously what noob means. My kids play some fun noob songs apparently, and we'll get to that after. Okay, so here we go. Ethereum held, and that's it. So I was talking about it here on Friday when we dipped down to this 2,700. I was a little bit nervous on some of that Chinese rhetoric. That just continues to be the same thing, man. They've been banning and against crypto now for a while. So that doesn't seem to have held. That story seems to have held here. We dipped down, I guess it was yesterday as well, in the AM or so, down to 27 again, and it's just been a nice move back to 3,000 here on crypto. So, I mean, we're looking. This is just Ethereum looking to break through 3,200, and on the same wavelength here, Bitcoin as well. I use the 30-minute chart, so we'll do the same thing here with Bitcoin. 30-minute chart. There's the dip down here. We retested 41, so a dip to 41, a retest to 41, and then it's off to the races, and that's it. So off to the races now to 44. So. I mean, how strong is this level, man? 40, 40, 40. So I think it's pretty strong. With that being said, the question was about Mara. Look, crypto's been holding up, so I think that this is just, that was a dip, trying to get people out. They did get me out of a little bit. I talked about that. So that's that. But right here, Mara, holding this 35.50 area, great. So you go back to, in some of these swoons, holding 35.50, holding 35.50. Then we get that drop down that we just showed you in the charts, right? And it held 32 even. So I don't, you know, for some of these names, I like them to the upside. I think as long as Bitcoin continues to run, which it's doing right now, well, I mean, it's bouncing and holding. I like this 35 level for support here on Mara. So if you're going to be long on this name for a day trade, I like 35. You can get out there and hold to see for the upside. There it is right there. The 50-period moving average is 32.50. As far as a 1-minute chart on Mara, let's just quickly look to see if there's any opportunities here today. I mean, it's going to follow what the market does in crypto. So look at these bases down here. Again, 35.50, 35.50, and a little bit higher, 35.60, 35.60. So any drop down here, I think you got to buy it. But obviously, we're not going to be talking Mara if you're not actually watching physical Bitcoin. So watch out for that. And I think this is a good buy, 35.50. Even taking out the top here, you know, you have about $1 worth of range risk to the downside. So Mara, thank you for the super chat. I like it. I think it held that 35 great on those dips.
All right, guys, a few analyst moves to pass along this morning. Costco mentioned, Credit Suisse upgrading Costco, increasing their price target. eBay, Pepsi, Western Union. This side of the board, yeah, Lordstown, more negativity on Ride, BTIG. Micron here, we were mentioning the chip makers and Nike as well to the downside. Interesting note I was reading, guys, on that crypto idea from China. If this was the China bans crypto sell-off, we'll take it. I mean, it's not too bad, right?
Yeah, I mean, the theory behind it was just like sometimes it is all about the last worst headline and what worse are they going to do, right? I mean, you know, you've got the major Binance and everybody like closing down new accounts and closing down other ones. So it's just sometimes that's your best shot. Like you're waiting for that last headline. When it comes to the rest of regulation, I don't know if that's going to be true, but I think with crypto, like what else is it going to be? At least coming from them, you might still get some talk of regulation coming from over here. I'm only looking at Lordstown because another down. They got a downgrade by Goldman, I want to say. Yeah, Goldman Sachs. And then they got another one here today. But oddly enough, it's been in a bit of a attempted move into the upside here, trying to get back to the 8 level. And it had a move on Friday. And this is what I'm sort of talking about. They had this not gap up move, but I guess breakout move into 8 even, and then started flushing back in. So I'm on watch for Lordstown here, because when you get a harsh rejection like that, I kind of want to see if there's any follow through. I'm looking at that 725 level here to the downside on Lordstown. You can always look at like a 750 because I feel like if it holds this, maybe it makes another test to the top. So I mean, Goldman put their sell on, and now you're going to get some analysts piling on as well. Sometimes that can lead to, hey, that's the unwinding of short positions already, and maybe it'll spike up. You saw the reaction on Friday, but we're right back into what looks like a bit of a key level here on Lordstown at 725.
If we're going to talk about EV space here, you know, we'll do it. Where's I had that Let me see if I can find it here. I like this one. Here we go. We'll pull out the EVs. Their Fisker, to me, it has been, this is the one that I like the most. It's been on a great run here the last little while. This is a 20-minute chart, dipping down on the 16th, a couple Friday or last Thursday, down to 12.18 down there, or whatever the bottom was, doesn't matter, 12 and a quarter. Nice move up to 15 here, so pretty strong Fisker. They caught some upgrades, they caught some downgrades. We'll see where Fisker goes from here, but I do like Fisker. They have that nice top at 15.25. That might be a selling opportunity if we get up there today, but Fisker on a nice little bounce back. This is just a minute chart. Nothing but love for it on Friday. If you get anything back to 14.50, which we may, that could be a spot of concern there from Friday. So 14.50 on Fisker looks very, does it look very, very strong? I don't know, but this is a nice bounce back for me here, making these bottoms at 12.13. We bought it in here on the Morgan upgrade, and we didn't average in because I hate this. I hate the space. I don't hate the stock, but should have probably done that. Next time we get an opportunity to get it, maybe in the 10s, 11s, 12s, 13s, something like that, we should be able to pick up some Fisker. But we did break above the 50 period moving average, which I like. Now I just think it's clear sailing. I don't know about clear sailing, but it's definitely much better looking stock if we break above 17, so we can get rid of all of this, which was on. I think this was a Morgan or something upgrade, and then just a couple days later got downgraded. So the downgrade wins the day on that one. But we've already now given people an opportunity to buy Fisker down here. So I think a break of right here, $17 on Fisker. I'm actually going to put an order in to my longer term account because I only have it in my swing account right now. But right now, this break of 17, I really like on Fisker. Even goes back here to January where we made these bottoms and then broke higher, right? So let's see if we can hold out. Right now, Fisker looks very interesting to me. I like Fisker at these levels. Let's see if we can get a 15 break.
Yeah, I remember Lucid had a really good week. Past couple of weeks, in fact, for LCID as well. We'll stay on the EV front here, guys, as we get into what is moving around in the pre-market. If you're looking for the watch list, absolutely free watch list for you every morning before we come on at 8:30. That is the link. All you need is an email address, and you can have that for free. Miss V will help you out in the chat if you require that link. Tesla, guys, coming off Friday's move was pretty impressive. Just trended nicely higher all day on Friday. So we are kind of in and around where it ended on Friday right here in the pre-market. But Electrek reporting over the weekend, an internal email from CEO Elon Musk suggested this week, this current week, will be the most intense in company history for deliveries.
Yeah. It does, and he's known for rallying the troops with that type of language. But Tesla's been on the midst of a strong, steady breakout. And the days of Tesla being, I guess like last year, like the whole gamma squeeze and just ridiculously volatile. Those things are, I shouldn't say done, but they've definitely gone away to a certain extent. You can certainly tell that by the double bottom that got made. When we were trading around these levels, and that double bottom got made down at that 540 level, and we had the 636 breakout, and then that got right to the 700, and we're thinking we're going to head straight to that. I like 787 as a number for resistance, which could come into play this week, and then up to that 800 level. And it's just been a slow and steady climb, but not without its pullbacks, not without its barcoding, sometimes a week long with very little movement has been happening in Tesla. So I think you just have to get used to that style of trade. And that's what we're sort of getting here with the Tesla. But now we've broken through that 765 area. This is the last leg up. If we dip, that previous resistance is going to be support for me. So it's at 760 to 765. Should go without saying that that's going to be a dip buy for me. And 787, like I mentioned, is just a historical price that I've always noticed on Tesla. And I think that could be a bit of a target for any longs today. Certainly if it gets there, it screams into it at some point this week. Maybe it'll be a little bit of a short opportunity in front of it. But I'm going to be parking a bid at the open, in between like that 760 and probably 762.5, like midway through that $5 pullback range. And that was the resistance before. I expect that to be support on the week for Tesla. Not a lot of volume today, but it is holding up better than the broad market here, at least the NASDAQ anyways. Barely to the downside, and even caught a little bit of a bid there in front of that 67 level. So I like Tesla certainly this week, but it's all about that resistance turning into support for me.
Yeah, look, Tesla's been a good trade for us again, so we'll belly dance it. I mean, we talked about it when it was down here that it was pretty much a buy in the 500 areas, and we called 800. We called it by the end of the year. Looks like we're going to be getting that sooner than that, just like Palantir took off. Tesla took off a little bit faster than I had thought anyways. Just really nicely riding this 50-period moving average all the way to the upside now. I think it's gone a little too far. I am looking for pullbacks now. I'm long this name, and I did buy in here, but I'm long. I never want to sell this, so I'm not going to get out, but I think this is a good area to think about getting out now, around this 800. If you were a buyer at around I think it was 580, 590 when we did breaking above here, and maybe it might have been 600. This is a good spot to get out. So from 6 to 8, not bad in about 2 months. But again, everyone's always going to hold Tesla, I feel like, for a bigger move. So, you know, Tesla maybe can get into this 820, 830, 840. I mean, back to all-time highs. I don't know. That might have to be maybe in the new year. I mean, wouldn't be surprised if it happens faster than that, especially if the market rallies. We've seen Tesla, even in what people are calling a pullback here in the market. Look at Tesla, it's still making new highs. So you have to love this name. On a 20-minute, this is the trade that I'm looking at right here. We've held that 760. I mean, Neil just talked about some of these levels here. But look, so you've held 760 all the way back to last week, 16th, 17th, 18th. Well, the 18th was Saturday. But 16th and 17th, we held that 760. We got up to there again before fading it out, fading, and then you've had that nice couple rally there on Friday. So I like this 760. Any love back here is worth taking to me. 762 or so, going to be a long for me on Tesla, and then we'll see what happens around the 760 level. Give it some love from there, but maybe not too far back, 758 or so.
It is time for Arun. Let's have a look at the overall market, guys. About 9 o'clock, 30 minutes to go here before we get the market open. That wasn't much of a bounce there, Arun. We're feeling a little bit more negative this morning.
Yeah, we're coming down a little bit, small little bounce, just underneath 30. Same area that we had some support late in the session on Friday. So I guess it's kind of not surprising that we got a little bounce there. The level I'm looking at is 44.25, just underneath there. I'm going to keep that as a soft level, meaning that I like to see if we can get underneath and trade. If there's a long setup, I'd like to get on board. And then if I need to use a 25, I'm going to wait to see how it's trading below it before I decide to get out. That's if there's a long setup. To the upside, there isn't a whole lot you can work with. I mean, you can argue that top end, that 44.70-ish, just a stop above there could work, but I'm not really feeling that one right now. There isn't a whole lot to work with up top, so we'll just work with the level to the bottom. 44.25 is the one level I've got. And I think the big one here is going to be around 4,400. Not necessarily a level, but it's just a broad area. There's been a lot of action. You go back 2-3 days last week, and there's been a lot of action just underneath it from 90 going up to 4,400. So if we get into that, if we break this 25, stay underneath 25, there's a short that sets up, you go for the short. And then once you enter this 4,400 area, you do have to be careful because it's a ton of action waiting down there. How wide it is, you really don't know until it gets there, right? You could argue they could be 10 points, but I feel like it's a little bit bigger than that. So the level I've got below that 44.25 is going to be 43.50. So it's quite a bit of space to the downside from here on out if we take this 25 out. So just be aware that you may have 25 points in running room if we get to the downside before you run into something. And then from there on out, there's a massive range, pretty much almost 50 points really, where buyers could step in and bring this market back up. So just a couple wide areas to work with. Market's down 0.25%. Momentum is to the downside with small little bounce just now. We are kind of giving that back up right now as well. So it does look like sell side is going to come in for now. We are sitting at some support. So we'll see how this goes into the open. I don't have any reads. It's going to have to happen after the market opens around this 25 mark, whether I'm going to be long above it or I'm going to have to go for the short if it breaks through and through the bottom. But for now, though, we are just waiting for the market to bring in some more volume so we can figure out what to do with this.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Well, let's continue along here, guys. Airbnb, the next on the list. We're going to talk about the travel stocks, hotels and airlines, cruise lines, all higher initially this morning. But I want to talk about Airbnb here separately because it was JP Morgan that initiated coverage on Airbnb. We had a couple analysts last week talking positively on this name as well. So we've had a week and a half or so kind of ramping back to the upside for Airbnb. Now JP Morgan comes in and says, it's neutral, but puts a nice 170 price target on this.
Yeah, I mean, we're at 175, obviously. And look, there's interesting levels coming in for Airbnb, and they've already been a lot of people's fantastic, I guess, recovery play. And I wish I was in the stock, given what it's done. It's, again, like a decent climb. I think last week we probably mentioned this, so it just probably bears up repeating. 180 to 183 looks like a bit of a resistance level. We're looking at a bit of a round out to the top here. And it's not to say that this is top heavy and there has to be a bit of a pullback, but you do look at that 177 on Friday and then test it again here in the pre-market. The volume not gigantic, and I would have loved to see a 177 break for the long side here, but I think, certainly a failure to get through that level could get you a bit of a dip. I'm still gonna go with the breakout, but I won't put an order out in Airbnb until we open up here. I'm noting a 50-cent spread, and that's pretty typical from what I'm used to on an Airbnb. So I do like the break. I still think it has a little bit of room before it gets to that resistance. I think you got to be at least a little bit cautious today. I mean, the market is sort of to the downside, and you want to make sure that you aren't in that free fall territory. In terms of dip buying, like 170 is going to stand out, but I'm not sure we're going to see that today. So I don't know how much I'd lean heavily into that. I feel there's a better chance for some of the plays where I'm looking to buy the dip that it's going to be in tech as opposed to some of the travel names. Could be wrong about that. I'm looking at CCL as well. I think has some areas that you can do a dip buy in. But we're much closer to the potential break of that 77 in Airbnb than buying in front of levels I find interesting.
Yeah, I mean, on the daily chart, Neil has talked about it there. It's just been such a nice move up here. I don't want to buy anything right now. I mean, I've talked about this over and over again, and Airbnb just kind of fits the bill. It's a name that I want to get into. I heard Kramer talking about it last week, and like you mentioned, there's been some upgrades over the last month or so on Airbnb, and I mean, with good reasons. I mean, if this variant is going to be under control, the more people get vaccinated, and even if vaccinations slip by the wayside and they're no longer a thing, and people don't want to talk about it, I think people will travel to Airbnbs more than hotels, especially those that maybe choose to be unvaccinated may find it safer to go into a home that's been cleaned and you can trust with good reviews and things like that, rather than a hotel that's packed full of people. So I think Airbnb does have a lot of advantages to both sides of it, the reopening, and even if we do go back into, a little bit of a quiet winter here as far as traveling is concerned, maybe due to some people's worries on traveling, I think Airbnb sort of solves both problems there. So I'm going to wait for a pullback. I mean, I'd love to get this thing at 160. That would be genius if that could happen. We'll see if it's genius or not, but I would love for that to fall a little bit here. If you're in the name, I mean, I think a fall is fine to this level. I don't think you get out, that's for sure. I don't think you ever get out of Airbnb, to be honest with you. I think it needs to crack a lot lower, even below, it IPO'd, pretty famously there that one day at 145 and then just tanked all the way down. People thought it was way overdone. And then you just ripped up, doubled from there up to 220. So Airbnb does have the juice behind it. And I like what it's talking about. I like the story. It's just, almost like its friend in Uber, I guess, on some of these reopen plays. It's just gone up way too much. It's broken outside of these levels, and I'm not a buyer here, although I think the next stop is probably 200 to test, but waiting for a pullback, any weakness in the market, Airbnb is one of the top names, along obviously with Palantir and a few others, and we'll talk about those on my buying list. But Airbnb, I have no exposure, and it's a name I want to get into.
3 or 4 days for the rest of the travel group, if you will, coming off of positivity from last week. So as of Friday, 114,000 7-day average for COVID cases in the U.S. That's well off 160 at the peak of the most recent wave, going back to September. So, I mean, we're going in the right direction, obviously. So as we said, kind of 3 or 4 days here for some of these travel names in positive territory. I just brought up CCL here, guys, 1.7. Some of the airlines, 1% again today. But daily chart's looking pretty good here.
Yeah, Southwest up that.
We'll do one each. You do an airline, I'll do a cruise line.
First of all, that airplane needs to pull up a little bit. It's too close to that cruise ship. But anyways, LEV up 1% here, as you mentioned here, Brennan. And it's not exactly the same as Airbnb, but it's very, very similar in terms of making that bottom, breaking the 50 period, and right into a 53.5 resistance area. This is a little bit different because we're actually gapping. Volume is very, very low. I'll say that on Southwest just to get that out of the way. But we're gapping above Friday's prices, which is a little bit stronger than what you see in Airbnb, which still has that resistance. So we're right at that level on the daily at 53.5. while above not just the close price on Friday's action, but well above the high on Friday as well at that 53. I call it 53.20 or so. So under normal circumstances, if there was volume behind this, I'd be saying, hey, but that's your level on the daily, 53.50. You're holding above yesterday's close, which you could use as your route. That would sit around for a breakout style trade. Southwest is not the kind of stock that usually has the juice behind it that you want to take breakouts. So you want to see trading above that level before you get confident with it. And I'd be pretty neutral in between Friday's highs and the close to that 53.50. It has to get below it to turn into a short. It'd be easier for Airbnb to turn into a short given how it's structured than LUV or Southwest would be. And I don't love the dip buys on this stock. I think dip buying can get tricky on names with less liquidity. I think CCL is probably, and Channel might say this, but we'll see what happens. CCL is probably a name which is easier to do that just because volume tends to come into it, whereas Southwest, I mean, it's a little bit harder to pick that bottom when there's lower liquidity. So I might have to sit this one out. I do like it if it holds a level above 53.50. Don't own airlines in the long term, but certainly when they start to get going, I think you can get some nice gains there. I just feel like we're coming to sort of an obvious consolidation level, and then it has to hold above that 53.50, and then it can further break out. So that could take a few days potentially.
Yeah, I'm going to hit this animation because it's called Miss the Boat. And I think that here it is. So there's Carnival Cruise Lines. You're breaking the levels. And
good
yeah,
time.
we missed it there. Yeah, good animation. An oldie but a goodie there. You could see CCL just rolled this 50-period moving average all the way down and basically didn't even really break it. I mean, we went as low as, we went like 30 or 40 cents below on some of these days, down to 22.25 or so. And then now, this is what I'm talking about. Missed the boat on this one. Bouncing. And if you just believed in the reopen plays and in this economy, you know, getting better, then CCL probably should have been bought somewhere around here. Any opportunities to get out in the 30s, I think, is a great opportunity to do that. They are expecting, I think it came out last week saying that they're going to get 50% of their boats back sailing come October, which is right now. So that'll be good news. As far as the trade for today, I like 25.50. I mean, you could come back into 25.50 right here, and I think that would be a great buy. You have a lot of consolidation down here at 25.25, so I think, you know, a dip down into 25.50 today on some of this negativity in the market probably needs to be bought, and then you can hold out for this 25.25 area, and if that breaks, I mean, I don't even really want to get out even if that breaks, so let's go to the 20-minute chart quickly here just to see if there is any levels. Yeah, I mean, a 25 break brings us right back to here, which isn't that far. This is only on Friday where we made that nice move upside. So I think Carnival wants to go. It is breaking out, so we have to support this stock a little bit. So I'm going to be a buyer of Carnival. Let's park some orders a little bit lower around here, 25.50 or so, see what does happen, and then see if we have to defend this 25 area. But I don't really want to let this thing go past 25. I'll have a decent amount of position, decent amount of shares there if it does happen. So, you know, a break there makes sense, and then maybe, I mean, again, I don't think this is a huge negative day. I mean, we're up here and we're down here, and the S&P is also down 0.28, right? So Carnival relatively strong today. That's easy. Anyone can see that. So let's buy it on any dip and see where we go from there. So 25.50 is going to be a good spot for me to start getting some shares. And look at that. And this is going to sound funny. I didn't even see this before. This is the first time I've looked at this. A little bit lazy of me. CCL is the #1 name. So that's good. So it's #1 name as a buy on there. You have US Steel. I'm still looking to buy.
Vizio.
A few names. Yeah, Vizio's on our list. We'll get to that in a minute. Palantir as a sell. Other than that, I mean, these numbers are nothing, so I'm not worried about it. But CCL is not bad at $400,000 for a bid. So US Steel, I prefer Nucor, but that's on my shopping list as well. So hopefully we get a little bit of a flush today, and we'll start to maybe nibble in on some of these. I mean, what's the difference if I buy now or next week? Hopefully not much, but we may start nibbling in some of these. But CCL, a buy, 25.50.
A few energy names on that imbalance locator as well. Here's why. Crude oil, guys, up nicely. Again, 1.8. It was a little bit higher already here in the pre-market, coming off a little bit though. But a couple days in a row. Speaking of, you know, reopen type ideas, more demand, more people getting out traveling once again. This has been on quite the tear here. If you go back to last week, 1, 2, 3, 4, now 5 days straight to the upside for oil, looking pretty good. So this whole group positive again today.
Yeah, I mean, old J.R. Ewing's got to be pretty happy with what he's seeing here. Certainly,
Team plays tonight.
Yes, sir. I just dated myself with the reference about Dallas, but anyways, that's I used to.
I saved the audience for those of people that would know who's playing tonight. maybe not too much oil in Philly.
I actually grew up in a household that watched Dallas every single Friday night, which is kind of crazy because I was a kid and that was probably not a kid show. But I'm going to talk about Chevron here because why not? Again, breaking out, and I don't think we'll get a chance at 100 at any particular point, but I think this is a name that has some runway to go. And it's like, how many times do I have to look at the same chart, double bottom, consolidation, break, and then into recent support? It got some room, at least a couple of dollars, maybe $2 or $3 till you get to that 105 level. So I kind of like the chance that you can hold out and buy anything in front of 100 on a Chevron. And it'll be a good addition. I'm trying to pick some up this week, candidly speaking, in my account. As far as the day trade goes, you really probably want to be looking at your Oxys, which I have a 28.40 area for Oxy on a dip buy. I think we're a little closer to that. You can see Oxy sort of breaking out as well. A little bit of a better chart in terms of breaking out, but you're already through that 28 level, halfway through 29. Whoa, that 15-minute has a crazy wick. But I'm looking at this mid-rate point, like Friday's highs here at 28.40. That's where I'm looking to pick up. So as you can tell, I'm a little bit bullish. You do have that. It's not a crisis going on, but I mean, the shortages and the rally in oil prices there having me want to get involved in what was a very, very strong move in all of these names in last week. I just feel like long-term, okay, Chevron, great. But for the day trade, I like Oxy. If it dips down in front of 28.40, which of course is Friday's highs, that's where I want to be a buyer. So a lot of dip buying ideas for me in here today because it's the small caps I want the breakouts on, and I keep looking up, and BBIG doesn't want to break out, and RCAT doesn't want to break out, but they're getting there.
Yeah, we have the RCAT breakout ready to happen. Hopefully we have that as well. Okay, so right here, 59.65, I was looking at XOM and I actually tweeted it out. I said 59.25, so we'll move this a little bit lower, right in and around here. Just 59.25, just trying to pick some levels here to break out on XOM. Yeah, what a great move back down to 54.55, which we did call up here at 64. What a great month now for oil coming into September. Brendan just talked about it. Oil looks like it's 75.50 or so right now, 75.25, sorry, for crude looking at, so yeah. Oil looking strong, and you got to buy XOM. So XOM, a very, very strong name here. I like a 59.25 break, and again, it's on this sticky note, one of the number one things there that I have on there for today. So we'll see if that can hold, but that's what I like, 59.25 here on XOM. And then if you're going to look to say, where are we going to be wrong? I don't know. I mean, let's just watch the momentum to the upside, and we'll pick a spot here. I don't really have anything on the 20-minute, and then on the 1 minute, I mean, it's just been sort of ticking up all morning. So I think 58.50 is where we'll be wrong on this one. So, give this one 75 cents to the downside. A 59.25 break gets us to 60. It's like a 1-to-1 here, but I'm just looking to scalp this. I don't expect huge moves on XOM, but I do expect to buy some of these rallies here in this name. So, again, any little dip buys down here to 58.50 is going to get bought by me. So we have some bids here in the 60s right now. Any little flush off the open will take it on oil and or on XOM, and then hopefully it doesn't dip too far back down here to 58 or so. But let's test XOM for the long today. I like it.
All right, interesting look here for Vizio this morning. A couple of people talking about it already. We'll discuss Vizio a little bit here, guys. We're back to that 22 area, which was significant going back a month or so. I was just double checking. It was March. This stock and this company came to market. I remember sitting here the day that IPO took place. So it's already been, quite some time, March. So yeah, 22, pretty obvious here on the daily chart. I mean, there's not much as far as news. There was a Barron's note out last week talking about positivity around this name when it comes to streaming opportunities and the built-in technology in their televisions for that purpose, and more possibilities to come on the streaming side.
Yeah, it's interesting because anytime you get like what is a sexy looking breakout level and then you gap up above it, you kind of just say, okay, well, if it retraces to 20 even, fair enough. It'll look good as a break. I would not, again, I'm not going to have a stop order there because the stock's not doing a lot of volume here. But certainly a 22 break is interesting to me. I'd rather it consolidate before it gets there. It's just you always want to see volume come into moves like this, and anytime you get a gap, let's have a quick look at how we got to that 20 level, because it's 1-2 days testing it, falling back, and then a couple of days of consolidating and then gapping above that particular price. So if I see that and I look at the 22 level, I'm going to want it to consolidate before breakout, more so than just gap, follow, and then maybe run up on a parabolic move. Next thing you know, you're punching the high, and where's your stop? Like $1 lower. I don't want that to be the case. So Vizio's on my radar. Actually, and Sean pointed out in the imbalance locator, it does have a slight imbalance, so could have some activity off at the open. But given the fact that that 22 has now gotten away from us here and we're not consolidating into it, you're probably better off like hunting for a dip buy. And I've sort of laid out that I like a lot of other ones better. Someone was asking in the chat if I like a firm, and I'm like, I'm already bidding in front of 120 on a firm because I love that stock on a dip buy today. Not to necessarily change the subject, but apologies, I'm changing the subject. If you look at what happened at a firm through that 120 break and then made that top, a bit of a double top here, I'm just looking to see if we can hold the consolidation. And that's pretty much all I'm concerned about. You go a little bit further back out into a couple of weeks ago, and you will see we had spikes through that 120 level and then a rejection of the 120. So I want to see if this previous resistance, which took us to the breakout, is going to hold on a firm. So we've retraced about 10% here, and I like that setup. So this is where I'm leaning, and is a little bit more interesting for me to pick up, hopefully off of the open here. You can give that to like a 118.5 or so, just to make sure you don't give up your entire day on it. But a firm might not be done. It's been a ridiculously strong stock, so this is the one I like a little bit better than Vizio, but $20 would be great if you can catch it down there. 22 break, I'll wait until a bit later on in the session before I take a shot at that.
SoFi 1750. That's good. We talked about SoFi, buying some SoFi. You guys can find tweets on that one as well, back down to 15, 16. So that's a nice bump, finally getting that one back here. And I'm going to change the subject as well. What about Apple? Apple's on my watch list right now. And I was saying, I don't think it's going to hold up here. Let's see what happens with this 145 break. The market really depends on this hold. So that's what I'm looking at with Apple right now, this 145. Nice rally back on Friday for sure. We touched 145 and ripped to 147.50. Very, very strong in the afternoon there on Friday. Very, very strong last week for sure. Apple touches down at 141. We talked about that level. That's a buy for me. So that's going to be, again, another name that we're going to just sort of knock off here if it comes back to the downside. But if it doesn't hold right now, the NASDAQ down 0.86 right now, I'm looking at this. This is 145.50, which we're just cracking right now. And I'm even just looking just that little bit lower right down here. Let's go back to the 22nd and even previous where 45 held. But right here, I think a break of this level is going to be too key. The NASDAQ had some nice battle backs. We're very, very close to tipping points now on Apple, so that order's already in. You can see we've just dripped down to the bottom here. And then on the daily chart, it's not as crazy because you have some of these wicks. But again, this 145, it's just some areas of concern for me. Back here, back to August, we dipped down to 145 before spiking back up. So, and then we didn't hold it here. That's 146, and then we opened up lower and started to crash down. We tried to make it back, but anyways, 145 on Apple here. It's going to be my first sell spot for the day.
I was going to talk about this RCAT, guys, but I'll show you another headline here as well. Hellbiz. This is turning into something that resembles Fubo. Hellbiz up on another partnership. They're teaming up with this Highway Media. So we talked about this deal to stream Italian Series B soccer. So it looks like they're going to use Highway Media's technology for that, but it's not really moving around. But HLBZ, worth keeping on your list this morning as well. Red Cat Holdings, 37. It was higher than that. In fact, they received a 5-year NASA contract. So this is a company that provides software and operating system type platforms for drone companies. So NASA picking up some of their software for I was reading, Neil, a virtual trip to the moon. They're going to run for NASA software-wise, anyways.
Which is obviously cool if you're a nerd like myself, and yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Just a couple of things here. There's a 360 because there's only 6 minutes left till we get to the open here, so I'll try to spit this out as fast as I can. I was looking at 365. First thing I did when I sat down, looked at that level, and I have a couple of other ones to show you: 450, 455 area, and about a 525. If things get out of hand, maybe it goes to $7. I don't really know. But I did try this off the short because it was a parabolic move up when the news came in, and it turned right in front of 65. I'm like, okay, that's a short entry. I tried it a second time and lost, and then should have bought the dip. Well, I did buy the dip and then got out of it right away because it was like right before 8 o'clock, and I hate taking positions right before 8 o'clock, dark pool dumps. Now this is potentially trying to break out here. So finally, as I look up at BBIG coming back to 740, that's not breaking through at 775 high. I like that for a top break. RCAT, the only tricky thing about the 385 break here is you do have $4 sitting right in front of you, but there's room because 455 I think is that next level to the upside. Where I got out of this short is about 340 mid. And that's what I'd look to see being support. So I want to see if I can't buy the dip at the open. Well, if it dips at the open, I want to see if I can't buy the dip in the 55 range, because this one feels obviously very strong. It actually has positive news. So I don't want to lean into the short unless it's failing at that high of the day, guys. So I'm looking at 55 dip buy, at least for the open on this stock. Part of me says I should be taking a $4 break and not 385. But, you know, we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. I think it does set up, at least right now, that it might be giving you a shot. So I give you that 930 rollover trade, which I want to be a buyer of instead of a seller. And I just got that PALT, which is also on our watch list. That was a break of 515 to the downside. Obvious support you can see on the minute chart if you're watching PALT. So just got into that one when it broke. It's been going down all morning long since gapping to the upside. It's just a pure momentum play. This one is one that feels like it wants to give everything back.
Okay, just quick time here. So I said enough is enough. We already put RCAT on our watch list. We're willing to take the break of the day, but I'm already in it right now. Too much momentum right now on RCAT. It's a low float, so we did take it right there at 74s. It just went up to the same spot it did again, 380. So let's see if it breaks it. We're also going to take the high of the day. So RCAT right now looking like it wants to go first in right here, 375 off that 350 bounce. It's starting to get some momentum here with not too much time here left to go. I do want to throw it over quickly before we throw to Brendan. I'm just going to throw quickly to Valeria because I don't think we show her enough. And I want to see what she's trading. It's been a popular thing on our memes and movers. Miss V, what are you looking at today quickly?
Thanks for asking, Sean. I already had a nice short trade on PHCF. I also look at BBIG if it hit 7.73 level. And of course, my favorite Tesla, but I don't touch it until the open. Back to you.
I'm glad she said that. PHCF, guys, here we go. To the upside, obviously, this is a little Chinese fintech type or finance type company. We got up to 380 and 4 on the daily chart. 4 is a huge congestion zone, so pretty obvious levels here. I'm going to be done with this at 3, and it's very obvious on the daily chart as well. There's a lot of support at 3, so a little one, guys. PHCF already moving back to the downside.
Yeah, I like that one back to like about a 340 to 350 area. I want to see if I can't get an offer if it pops up at the open. As I mentioned, that PALT, I didn't quite get into. We had to chew this one pretty quickly. So when it broke 515, I'm going to take some out in front of 5 even. And just to give you guys a bit of a look, PLT has only been to market since August. It was an uplist from the pink sheets, from the OTC markets, I should say. So there is some room. It did gap up and make a run in aftermarket on Friday. And look at these levels between 60 and 80 where it hung out. If it breaks 5, that's where I want that next target out, which could potentially come into play off of the open. So I like dip buys in a firm. I've already talked about that one. BBIG, Vinco Ventures. Vinco Ventures obviously made that nice leg, and shout out to everybody in the afternoon show that was all over this one, sort of saying $5.50, not $5 would be support. That turned out to be true, and you get both the run up in the afternoon show, which you're able to take advantage of, but really also the gap. And I think if it does pull back, you let that previous, I guess, resistance at 7 turn into support, which has bounced once. You can see here a 775 break at the top does run into last week's highs, which I do like. So I'm sitting here looking for a break of the top. I'm looking to buy in front of 7 even. I'm not shorting this name just yet. Like I said, PALT sounds a little bit better to me, at least for now. So BBIG, Vinco, we'll take this one to the top if it takes 775. We'll buy a dip in front of 7 even. If 7 goes, you probably got to look back to 6.5 at least before I would dig into that one again.
Okay, Jude, I'm going to blame you for this one, 100%, Jude. If CCL breaks 26 alt, I'll take it with you, but I'll take it very small. I'm just going to see what does happen here. It's had some good momentum here off opens, so we'll see. I mean, I don't love this trade, but I'm going to save a lot of bullets to the back end here in case we do dip down to that 26 or 25.50. So I will take it because it's strong, and I think it makes a little bit of sense there. As you can see here, with not too much time left, the NASDAQ imbalances just came out. So Naked Brands on a bid, XOM, we like XOM. That's going to be a big trade for me, hopefully through 59.25. Just making sure I have that order set to go. I do, so that's good. That's going to be my biggest trade of concern right now is going to be that one. Also, Alibaba. Okay, I want to short any pops on Alibaba. We talked about that. That was also on our sticky note. So, okay, here we go. So, all right, so some of our orders are still here from Friday where we went long into the teeth here of AMC and got it out there for 20 quick pennies. We also were going long on AMC all Friday into the same kind of trade that we want to do again today. 39s, 38s, protecting 38 on the downside here for AMC. We've bounced around this 38. It's on the sticky note here. I wrote down looking for a 38 dip buy. So anything into here, 38, 38.50. We've seen this happen before. Watch out for 37.50 ultimate bottom, but I do want to get some longs here on AMC with only a minute to go. So AMC looking for a long, looking for a 59.25 break on XOM. We're already into RCAT, so this one probably flies a little bit off the open. Hopefully we don't get too greedy on this. The one-day chart really doesn't give us an out until 5, but you know, a 385 break, probably take it somewhere in the teens of the 4s. So that'll be nice as well. And then I did talk about SoFi that I've been talking about buying for a while for some traders here. We've recommended this one. Also Clover not going. SoFi does go, comes back from the dead there at 14 up to 17. So watch out for SoFi trying to break out some new highs as well. 18 bucks on SoFi.
And with that, we're ready to drop the countdown. It's Monday. We're going to get this week started. Miss V on the move. There we go.
Yeah,
I like
she got to go. She got to go.
8 and 7 and 6. Let's get this party started. Watching out for a Tesla actually making a bit of a bounce here. 3, 2, and 1. Let's go.
All right, let's go. Dun, dun. Let's see what RCAT. Yeah, let's see what RCAT's willing to do right now, guys, as we're willing to go here. RCAT trying to take out some of the bombs. We're going to watch XOM. I'm not in anything yet, but we're ready to rock and roll here on the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking at a firm, doesn't even want to give you the dip. It just immediately goes to the upside towards 125. So it looks like it's breaking upside on a firm instead of giving me that dip buy. I'll have to look. If it moves up first, I'm going to hunt a little bit higher for that dip and maybe go to like a 121, 122 instead. Tesla making power moves as well. BBIG starting to come in, so this might actually give you a chance to buy in front of that 7 even. That might be the first look here as I hang on to that PALT short.
Okay, yep, here we go. So here goes RCAT right now. Nice little ripper for us here. We are into this name, so let's see how far we go. See if we take out some at 95 right there. Did we get it? Yes, we do. There goes RCAT. So we buy, again and again and again. We talked about getting some out near that $4 mark. Let's see if that turns out to be right. XOM, what are we doing on that one? I guess we didn't get our CCL bid, did we? 59 and change, looking good. There goes CCL right now. Ooh, I got 26.01 there. That didn't break 26. There's a huge size there, so let's see if it goes up now. Long CCL right now. Let's see if this one can work for us.
Yeah, and just checking back on AMD, which is holding up that 104.50. We thought that would be a big level. I'm not shorting it, but I think there could be a chance that it stalls out and breaks to the downside off of that level. Tesla here, I said it was making a move into the upside. It got to 779 and then just pulled back harshly there on Tesla. So big candle to the upside. PLT is now broken through that 5 level, so it looks like we're all systems go there. And then just to come back to the name that Brendan had mentioned, that was that PHCF. That only moved down off the open into $3. Looks like we're not going to get that push into the upside on PHCF to be able to short it, but I'll leave my offer in front of 50.
105, 105.50. I was just looking at AMD here. So CCL doesn't even look like it's really open yet. So we'll have to wait to see CCL trying to get open here on the New York. It's not open yet. You can see all these NYBs crossing each other and things like that. So we are long into this name right now. And it's not open yet. So CCL not open, but we are in it. Let's check out on Apple, see what that's doing. Quick time here as we look. And it's still, here we go, man. This may take that 145. So watch out here for Apple. We want to go short on a 145 break, guys. That's AAPL looking like it wants to come to the downside. So let's hit this one if we're lucky enough to do that through 145. We will put a short on Apple right now as it's going to break through 145. So get ready here. I like this trade. We'll see if it can hold. Really just going to get out at 146. This is going to be worth $1. We're going to try to hold this one all day if we can. There it is. Short Apple for now.
And we're going to walk on water. The one thing we got on is that PALT, and it just continues to flush into the downside. I think it has a chance to bounce between 460, 480 that we talked about. So get some out. Going to hop on the offer in case this does pop into the upside. But guess what is now on the move? Again, it is BBIG. So Vinco Ventures. I like this one for the dip buy. You can see me. I'll have to cancel that order. It's not going to fill down in front of 7 even. But we're retesting the high. I like the break at the high of the day, that 775 level. Looks like we have a decent chance to get there. And here comes that 4 even on that RCAT. I think you're probably still in that. We're 4 even coming into play on RCAT, guys. So big movers. And Lucid, I think we forgot to mention Lucid. Apologies there. That was a big mover. A test of the high on Lucid as well. It's kind of holding up 26.25 for a consolidation. This one has a chance to go because you did make that big time pullback of a double top at 28. It might want to retest that level. First things first, 26.25. We'll need to break that high a day. Brendan?
Speaking of Lucid, here goes this Gores as well. Remember, this is going to be Polestar, guys. So another EV maker joining the party. Huge volume there at the open on the print for GGPI.
Polestar, huh? Okay. Yeah, here goes CCL. All right. I thought I had an offer out here to get out, but it's not till 19 right now on CCL. So we've got to wait for that a little bit here for yours truly. We're going to wait for 19s on CCL. Just trying to make a little bit of cash on this one. We'll see where it goes from here, but I like that play 19s on CCL. Why? It goes up to 18s and stops. So we'll see if we can take out the high of the day one more time here on CCL and take that one. XOM, we took it, but now we got to wait for it as it breaking through. That was 59.25. So right now, it's starting to move to the upside. It goes as high as 30, but I like it. I think this one's worth holding on to for a bit. That's XOM trying to go now as well. CCL, and then there goes Apple. We already took out a dime. Look, or took out 25 cents on this one. Raining down the cash right now on Apple. We called that short. It's now 50 cents in the money for you guys.
And BBIG just came back in for me. Just picked up the first long in front of that 7 even level. We got 740s there. We'll see if we can't get some more at 725. Oh, good making the alert there, so we don't have our arms whip around and spill the coffee. BBIG for the first time into the long side of the trade. I think Ms. V is probably going to want to get back to be trading Tesla because this is already starting to come in. Now, I don't think we're going to necessarily make a first trade waiting around for a 760 dip, but it's come right back in, is now holding 770. I think we have a decent chance, as the market starts to come down past 1% mark, but Tesla has shown some relative strength. So I want to see if it can hold the pre-market lows. Then we like that 760 to 765 for a bit of a dip buy on Tesla. BBIG just came in. And then there's the rejection on RCAD at that $4 level, which is the only thing that gave me pause for the breakout trade. Now it's consolidating up here. So I'm either buying dip in front of 350 or I can take break at 4 as long as it holds the top end of the consolidation. So here comes RCAT making that run at 4, trying to double tap it right now.
Man, this has been just a real good day for us so far as we start lining up some cash here on some of these names. I hope you guys are enjoying this as well because right now Apple continues. Oops, sorry, just sorted this the wrong way. Okay, we did get out of some of our XOM here. That, we took that, not holding out now into this move to the downside here. We will see if it can hold out. We'll get a little bit more out at 8. We took some out when it broke that VWAP right there. So now we'll take a little bit more out on that one and just see where we go from here. No idea. Apple, nice win, man. We talked about this. This is on our sticky note. So we'll say sticky note for the win on the siren alert there. $1 in the money right now as we'll go cowbell alert on this one as Apple continues its move to the downside. If it didn't hold that 145, we thought there was going to be a little bit of trouble there, and it looks like that's going to be to the right side as well. Now, just to update on RCAT, man, we saw it bouncing around $4, so we got out. We are holding something pretty small. If it comes back down here to 340, 350, we will get out, but we are holding small on RCAT, but we did double tap that out up there near that $4. So far, so good on RCAT. I still think it has a chance to go, but that's what we're doing right there. And check out CCL. Yo, what up, Jude? How's that one going for everybody right now? That was a good idea by you. Taking that 26 to the long side. Bang. Big trade here for CCL. Nicely in the money now, 35 cents, man. This is what we're doing, man. Apple with the bangers. CCL with the bangers. Let's see if we can get something else, man. The only thing that's not banging right now is our XOM trade, but ho-hum, we took about a 15-cent hit there. Really at 08 was the big hit. Now we'll see if it can retrace back to the upside and we'll make that back. But right now, Apple with the banger of the day, in my opinion anyways. I know Neil has some good ones on, but 90 cents, $1 in the money on Apple to the downside. It's a good one because it's all you can eat on Apple. You can get as many shares as you want. Let's keep going to the downside. Watch out for the NASDAQ below, guys.
Yeah, the market looking very, very weak. And as I see that, you're going to see, well, I'm going to talk about a firm in a quick second here, but Tesla's definitely the one of concern. I got back into that PALT, which is popping. So we shorted it once through 5 even. Now I'm shorting it again through those quarters. Look at Tesla trying to take out the high. This is what in the context of the market heading to the downside. So I hate to say it, but I'm fading Tesla off high of the day with the market looking this week. Rendo?
Another energy name just popping up here, guys. BP day highs, 3.25% on decent volume here. So back above 27 for BP.
All right. Yeah, so we're looking at the same thing right now at XOM. We're putting some offers out to see if we can't catch this move just on the way back here. As the NASDAQ trying to recover, but not doing that at all, actually. Now that I look at what the NASDAQ is doing, it's still fading out here. So still the downside there with the NQ. So we're right back to flat on XOM. We did dump a little bit of that on the VWAP break, but hey, man, take a 10-cent hit on XOM, take a 45-cent win right now on CCL. So as the math works out, so far so good for us on our trades here today as we are net positive, obviously, as we continue to go. The only worry for me right now of course, is going to be this RCAT position. So we'll wait to see where that goes, but we still have some breaking spots down near the bottom. Anything else, guys? Lucid moving around here. We shorted that one day last week, longed it the next. So we'll definitely have a look at Lucid when we get back.
Wow, Tesla's a super strong. The market continues to go to the next. Like, I'm happy about Tesla. I'm not going to lie. I came in here thinking it was going to be the awesome dip buy opportunity. Instead, it's already taking out the top. Now, it just held 780, and I hate high of the day breaks. And then it doesn't take out the obvious level in front of it. So you're going to likely see me. Anytime I get wicked out, I'm like, wait a minute, that's a bad stop. You want to make sure it's breaking that 780 level. I'll just jump right back into the trade. So I'll use 780s, which probably should have been the case the first time through. Let's be honest about it. That's a key level, certainly a psychological one as well. So I'm right back into it. That PCHF was the other one. I think Brendan talked about this, hopefully, right before. There was not a heck of a lot in the way of catalyst, but this is a very, very PHCF. It's a very, very low float name, so do be cautious and careful trading it. I did like the 930 rollover. I did get it when it failed at that 350, so got 345 into the short side here. I'd add to it at prices in front of 350 and then work it down to that $3 level where it did find support right at the open. So add that to the position alert. Probably should have waited the first time through on Tesla and been shorting closer to 780 even in the first place. That's a much better level, so when I see it, I have to take it again.
Yeah, at some point, we may just have to ring the register on this Apple trade. I mean, to call this move straight to the downside, we got to be able to take some profits here. I still am looking at Lucid, guys, so I'm more concerned about this Apple trade right now. On a 20-minute chart here for Apple, I will get to Lucid. I mean, it's hard to get to everything, and I appreciate everyone's patience on this one. But this 143 is looking pretty juicy for me. Back to the upside here. If it wants to take out this level, then we'll get out maybe 144.60 or so on Apple to the back. But again, this is just how I trade. If you think, I think the Nasdaq's going to be a negative today for a big problem. So actually, you know what? Let's hold on to Apple there. Let's not do anything about it. But if I think that that's going to be the case here, then maybe we need to look at XOM. So we did take a nice out there on XOM 34s. That's a dime to go off with that dime that we lost there. Sorry, we lost 13 cents there. So yeah, good out there on XOM. Let's see if it can still keep on going. And by the way, check out CCL, man. This trade, wow. Not much to say about that other than it's just straight to the upside goes CCL. Nice move up to 26.75 here on a one-day chart. Still moving. We're at that top. Let's get out of some CCL now. And if it continues to go, it continues to go. But I'm super happy with this trade here. 70 cents now in the money. CCL still looking to take out tops. It just rejected that. So let's get out, man. 26.50, 26.55 break. We'll get out. But let's let CCL just continue to make moves to the upside. Big trade here on CCL. What's up, Jude?
And I want to go with Hey Jude. Why not?
Exactly.
That's a great song, by the way. We'll power it up. And someone just said in the chat, it's a good thing to have orders out there and take advantage of them. That's why I always have that 930 rollover idea. It's one of my primary strategies. And again, and one of the reasons I'm actually going to get out of this stock, I said we take it down to that $3 range, which it just went ahead and did. Makes a lot of sense to me, so I'm going to go ahead and rinse and repeat that one if I get a chance. If it goes anywhere near that 350, I'm trying to short it again. The reason I want to get out here and get flats is because it does set up for a $3 break. And look how it's just, this is $1. This is 4 even at the top. This is 3 even at the bottom. That does set me up for a $3 break. It also sets up for a bit of a bounce, which I can then go ahead and short it again. So I want to rinse and repeat this action if I get a chance to do so. Not a guarantee. We talk about this all the time. If you make a bungle and a blunder, which I did, Tesla in too early, ignoring the 780 level, and then it holds 780, just get back into the trade. Sometimes you have to understand that it's a sunk cost, dwelling on the past, right? So forget about it. I get back in at 779, which is what I should have waited for in the first place. Scalps them out for a couple of bucks. I'm actually sitting in front of the bid here in front of 773, if only because as this market comes down 1.5%, Tesla has yet to even approach its bottom. So there is relative strength in this name. And as much as the short is working here, I don't want to ignore the fact that there is relative strength here in Tesla. So we'll take advantage of that one. PALT is starting to come back, and it just broke that 5. I'm rinsing and repeating again. Out some in front of 5, out some in front of 480 because we said that was our range of support, 460 to 480 on PALT, which means I want to be covering shares in front of it to the best of my abilities. So far, so good. I just have the one failed breakout on RCAT at $4, which kind of stunk. And I'm not going to be done with that name. That's actually doing fantastic volume and holding the high. Brendan, what's up?
The return of the SPACs, guys. Here's another one. DMYI, 7.5% so far on big volume as well. Remember this one? We mentioned it briefly back on Friday. Had a big day. IonQ going public, 600 million through this DMYI, another SPAC.
All right.
Back of all these specs.
Yeah, it's SPAC Nation right now. Yeah, really nice move up here for CCL. This is 75 cents in the money. I think at this level, guys, I think this is probably worth taking here. Again, like we talked about, we weren't super expecting anything like this on CCL. So let's just offer it here. If we get 74s, we get 74s. There it is. Close out the trade. That was a good one, man. We'll hit the swish on that. Thank you so much to our fans and to you, Jude, for mentioning that. And we talked about CCL early. I know Daryl's probably on this as well. We wanted the dip buy. We didn't get it. We noticed that 26 was just bouncing its head against that, all morning. Finally gets that break, and we're happy to take it for a nice little win there. Yeah, sometimes you got to have a little bit more conviction on some of these plays. And RCAT, we do have that. And now here's the bounce, man. We talked about trying to hold out for this one. Looks like it's going to be a win for us on RCAT. Now trying to take out $4 again. So, I mean, how hot is this list today for us? XOM, not really doing too much. So this has been the one stock that we've missed out for today. But RCAT, a big banger for us today. Apple, a monster one. I mean, take it out where you want. I'm going to wait. I'm just going to wait on Apple. We've already hit that. I'm just happy to give that winner to everybody. Take it out when you want to. And then CCL, looks like for sure out too early there on CCL. Let's just make sure I'll cancel some of my script orders on that one. Let's check out what SoFi is doing. I know that Neil had one on Tesla, then had it on the way back in. So that's going to be a good trade. We'll check out that in a minute. Yeah, that stops there. So this might be a good spot here for SoFi. Was noticing that it came back down. So obviously the NASDAQ's going to be weak. I don't want to buy SoFi on weakness in the market, but we are coming up to some of these points, maybe 1650, something like that on a SoFi, but I'm not super excited about it anymore, guys.
It's worth noting here, just to take a quick step back. I was going to mention Tesla, which we just got out of, but the ES still 0.3% to the downside. The NASDAQ 1.3. So you got to know where the moves are happening, guys, and it is obviously in tech. And we talked about that AMD 104.50 level. That broke and flushed. It's now holding 103.5, so about $1 down, and it's now trying to make a bit of a base. Now, the reason why I'm sort of saying all that is recognize where relative strength and weakness is. I can't, even in a falling market in tech, I can't hold on to Tesla forever. It's now again held 771. I just covered at 772.5, so we'll make it back. But remember, I jumped into that short too early. If Tesla holds 768 here, 768 to 770, I mean, this does feel like when the market turns around, or if the market turns around and Tesla has held those, Tesla could be on the verge of a breakout, looking very, very strong relatively. Brendo.
It's interesting, the Russell, guys, small caps, very strong as well, up 0.7 for the Russell so far. NCLH here, guys. I mean, you mentioned CCL. Here's the other one. NCLH, 4%, just made a day high on volume as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so we did get out of one more piece there. Yeah, NCLH, I mean, that CCL is going to be a mistake. It's still ripping. So as the market's starting to get back to the upside right now. So yeah, definitely a mistake there on that name, but that's fine. We can hold out for that now. But RCAT, we're not going to make a mistake. Now we are light, 25, 50, 75. So we only have a quarter left of this position on RCAT. So we'll see where it goes from here. But I like this name here. It's just, it stopped too many times at $4. So that's where we got another 25%. This way now, if we come back down, we come back down, but I'm not too worried about this name. RCAT looking to make some moves. We just took out another piece, so that's a good trade there. Check back on our CCL. May eventually make me sick, but maybe not. XOM, here we go. So XOM right now trying to take out the top here. Really, again, really happy with the way the sticky note's performing today on there. We had XOM long 25, so you see where that is, 41 right now. RCAT, we had that long as well on the list. We had Apple, just looking at it right now. Sure, I mean, we can look at this together if you guys want to. Join me on the watch list here. We had Apple short. We were going to short any BOBA pop, and then we're looking for AMC dip buy. So let's go over to some of those right now as we'll just go through our list. What did BOBA do? Did BOBA pop up? Yeah, so BOBA is popping now. This could be a spot to get short for sure, but we will have another look. I still am not worried, but I'm still on that Apple trade, and it's starting to retrace a little bit back here, Apple. But again, I'm really quite confident that this market, I don't know if it just found a bottom there, but only down 1.26. We can go down a hell of a lot more than that. So, I mean, Apple may be a little bit of a concern there at 144.60. So we're going to watch out for that. If you do have a bigger position than maybe you're comfortable with, this is not a horrible spot right here, 144.60. You're just starting to loop around here maybe on, this is just a VWAP, so volume weighted average price. That could be a good spot to get out if you're a little bit nervous. I'm going to hold it to see if we have more downside, but right now that's not a bad spot. Like I said, 144.60 if you're nervous on there. What's up, Eric Salazar? We will look at that. Is there sticky note archives? No, but if you just type in stick. I think I'm the only one hashtagging it. So if you hashtag sticky note, you should be able to find a bunch of those on my profile. And I'm sure there's a way to search Twitter feeds. I just don't have any idea how.
I think we're going to Miss V. What do you got?
Hey Neil, NEO is at 1 month low and trading on a good volume today. Do you guys see any opportunities for yourself in NEO?
Well, for me, the flavor, obviously, and it was on our watch list of the day, was going to be Tesla. So that's why I sort of stuck to that name. I'd never trade these two at the same time, but NEO just absolutely flushed, and they're going in They're going in opposite directions here, very, very heavily. If you look at how weak it's been off of the open, because I didn't see that flush and that breakdown at 35 until just now. You did break through last week's bottom, but only barely, and then held this 34.5. So that is bouncing off last week's support. I mean, overall, you think that would be a good thing. I think it's probably going to be a bit of a fade, 35 to 35.25, if it gets into that price. Or you'd love to see it hold above. But until it shows me a little bit more strength in this, I'd have to go in there and say it's probably a good opportunity, at least on the day trade, to sell in that range or at least in front of it. The dip buyers, if you can hold 34.50 again, I would definitely condone that move if you like it. Just to come back to one name that I have not mentioned yet, and I will talk about Sava. We got a question about it. Trying not to be too aggressive with that, but BBIG right into that 7 level. So this is put up or shut up for me. I wanted to buy that dip in front of last week's resistance. It does actually give you 695 as that resistance level. So when you're putting a stop order in, it's up to everybody how you want to do it. I give it that extra bit of room when I see that high at 695 and not put it right at 7. So it's only an extra 5 cents or so. I don't think it's a crazy amount of risk. I just feel you always want to have your stop so that you don't get wicked out. And then a couple of other names here. We are going to be celebrating PALT, which continues. And I tweeted this one out basically saying, if you've got a good price level, make sure you take advantage of, and that's what's happened with PALT. It comes back into that 15 area. I was able to get more shares here. 19 is the last, all the way down to that 460 to 480 range that we talked about, so we can celebrate that win. We don't want to rest on our laurels here because we are getting some crazy movement, and Cassava Sciences is worth talking about. It's up again. Now, I said I want to be patient with this name. And when Sava's moving, you want to make sure you get the right trade. And it's been an upward trend. And for me, that is not till it starts testing that 68 to 70 area. So when it gets up to that price, I think I'd take a shot at shorting it. I certainly was not patient enough last week, certainly on Thursday when I tried multiple times and basically threw away my entire morning shorting it in the afternoon. I will not make that mistake. I will wait for only the perfect entry. It's got to be up around that 68 to 70 if I want to short that one. Brendo.
It's interesting. There's a couple of names popping up today, guys, that we saw making big moves back in July. Here's another one. Flora Growth. You remember FLGC went crazy way back here in July, all the way up to 20. So 7, I guess, was the high from Friday. 6.8% here for FLGC.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, I wasn't able to hear some of those throws. You might have heard us in the background. We'll get that fixed up in a second right now. But yeah, thanks for some of those names and good trading so far today. Like Neil was mentioning, though, you got to be very, very specific on some of your names. Look at this one, man. Yeah, it's working. It sounds like it's working now. Yeah, this is going to be a good one. Thanks, Lucas and Rob. This is going to be a good one, man. Jaw dropper right now on RCAT as we still have a quarter of this one. So happy that we still have this. Obviously, wish we still had a $100p on this one, but we don't. So a nice little move to the upside here on RCAT. I'm just going to let this one roll, man. I don't know. We're already in the money nicely here. It's been a good day for us. We don't have any losing trades on board here. As there goes XOM. Yes, sir. We'll pop a wheelie on this one. Another one from the sticky note. Bang right there. We did get some out on VWAP. There's no doubt about that. It's not going to be the big banger that we had hoped it would be. But if we had just had more faith in the market at that time, then yes, we could have held it. But unfortunately, darn it, we saw what was happening, and I just got nervous in the equity market there when everything was flushing down, and we should have held out stronger there on XOM, but a nice move to the upside, 25 cents there, 75 cents plus on Apple, which I still think takes out this bottom of 144. We talked about holding on to that. RCAT on the upside. And then the other name I wanted to look at quickly here before we go over to, I'll go over to Brendan in a second, but actually let's go over to Brendan first, but Palantir on the way down, we got to find some levels. What's up, Brendan?
Double checking on Boeing here, guys. Anyone heard of SpiceJet? Apparently they're resuming their 737 MAX flights. I'm not sure that's the case here, but nice look for Boeing on big time volume, up 3%.
Brendan knows we've never heard of SpiceJet. Come on.
You haven't heard of SpiceJet?
Clearly, I mean, yeah, clearly not. But a couple of things moving here. APOP, by the way, I see everyone asking about this. Yeah, so made a bit of a move in the pre-market here, but it's giving it all back and giving it all back in a hurry. And if you miss out on a chance to sell these when they go parabolic, it's kind of like you don't chase them, and that's going to be my approach. 35 back to 24. Not the first time a pop has popped. That's the best I can do. You can't really do anything better than that. But anyways, I just feel like you're chasing this move, and it's kind of already gone here, guys. So I don't really have much to say unless it gets down to about a 22 level, which if you go back into Friday's action, that would have been the high that it just faded through. Maybe that's where you can buy a dip. That's some obvious support, I guess. So we'll lay into that one there. PHCF, we got out of it and then got back into it because I guess that made sense. Oops, yeah, there we go. It's that 350 level that we shorted into $3. I then shorted 3, and then, well, it got 298s, and then it hasn't broken 285 here, so I haven't gotten anything out. Haven't added to it. I'll just basically be sitting around in this one. If it breaks 310, I'd probably just cover it and then wait back for 350, which I think is a better opportunity, guys. So we'll lay into that at that particular price. If it gets there, Affirm, which I sort of said to myself on weakness, I wanted to buy Affirm if there was a dip in the market, and then it only goes to the upside. So Affirm, once again, is ridiculously strong. No need to have that bid just sitting out there to get run over. If it now were to fall $10 or $5, I probably wouldn't like it just as much. We are getting right back into some of these levels. If you go on the daily chart, back into this 130 level. Looks like there could be resistance up here. That would be the lower high, I guess, 129, 130 that you could put in. But Affirm continues to be ridiculously strong. Nothing has changed from last week's action. And Airbnb, we talked about the reopen plays, and there was the rollover off that 177 level. Just never really gave you that initial push right into 177. That's going to be resistance on this stock. You get anywhere close, you want to be a seller of Airbnb. And then 170, we still like for a dip buy. We're halfway there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I see you there, Brittany, about what's making you sick and what isn't. Yeah, Palantir right now. Look, this is the thing, okay? I feel bad when people, like when we sit here and we lose money or whatever happens, with some of these names. But at the same time, you have to be, sitting here and telling yourself, like, the kind of run that Palantir's been on lately, it's, some of these pullbacks when you get a negative market, I mean, do we expect it to be down 4%? No, but we've seen this before on Palantir, right? And so you really got to figure out what's going to be your risk to reward limit here. And I said that Palantir's on top of my shopping list on dip buys. And the thing about it is that I'm still negative on this market. I talked about not buying anything until the first week in October. So let's see where Palantir does go. I am long right now into this, but it's not, I don't know, we'll see if it holds. We're long right now at 48. We averaged in when it broke 50, we took in, and we're going to average it into this spot. But a break of this 27.20 or 27.25, we want to be out of this name. So we're going to wait for it. And again, this is just on a day trade. This is the only trade we have on right now that's a loser. Apple's $1 in the money. XOM's 20 cents in the money. Arcat's 20 cents in the money. And then Palantir, we're 6 cents out right now. And we've averaged into this name against this level here, 27.25. So we'll take it. And we'll just see where we go from here. But right now, it's looking like Palantir wants to test these bottoms, and then the bottoms we just talked about is where we're going to get out right here, 27.25. So if that happens, we're gone. But we have a little bit of a hedge on, which is nice because we can watch it through the move here on Apple to the downside. So Apple right now is $1 in the money, so we're watching that as well. But Palantir and Apple both positions of mine right now that I'm concerned about. Arcat is just a lotto right now. I think we've done pretty good on that name. And then XOM, we're small in this, man. I just wish we would have held it a little bit longer, but XOM's a win for us as well today. So far, so good on a Monday. It's been a good day so far.
Yeah, I can't complain about it yet. I'm not too happy about BBIG at that bottom. I probably got in too early at that 740 when the first move was up, but we now have an average price of the 22 level. I'm going to start working some shares out in the range like I tend to do at this time. You get close to 10 o'clock, and I start saying, okay, if you've held that bottom, that support level, fair enough, but you're either going to consolidate into a breakout or you're going to break down. So I want to make sure I'm taking some profit in that range in front of 30 to 35, maybe even 40s, and then get some more shares down in the 10 to teen range on BBIG. That's Vinco Ventures. Just to come back over, I don't want to. Affirm was one that I wanted to get today, and obviously, if I'm going to miss out on the long opportunity because I wanted to buy the dip instead of the break, the market was weak, right? And when I saw the market coming down, it just felt like you were going to be able to catch a bid in Affirm, and obviously that hasn't happened. And as you get to that 130 level, like I said, you can have a bias all you want. You can have an opening position idea in your head. But if it goes the other way, you're now up 4% on the session. You are getting towards that high from Friday. I'm going to have to think about going in the other direction and then fading about that 130 level. And when I say fade, that just means short a stock in front of a particular price level as it goes to the upside. So it's getting close to 129. I like that 130 area on a firm to attack it for the first time, but I'm going to be very, very patient with getting that entry point because you are getting the market trying to make a bottom, and it would be interesting, one of the strongest stocks up here, as the market bounces off the bottom and shorting at the high could be a little bit dangerous. So I want to be very careful that I get it close to that 130, as close to that 130 as I can. Speaking of relative strength, here is Tesla making its other run. I didn't actually show you guys. I cover it at 772.5. It goes all the way to 760, but it's now held the higher low on Tesla. So the relative strength is still there. Looks like it could be making that run. I think 787 is a level that's probably there before it gets to 800. If Tesla can pull back in, hold the low, and the market holds up here, I think it's got a nice little dip buy opportunity here in Tesla. I thought it would be 760 to 765, but for now, the strength in Tesla is abundant. As you can see, it's flat on the day.
Oh, man. Wow, look at CCL there. This is just an absolute monster through these levels. I mean, I had no idea this is kind of the beast I was dealing with when we started looking at this name today, and just what a beast. 2721, and we just tweeted it out with a big because we can't believe where we had this name and then where we got out. I mean, this was at the 75 level. I'll take that out all the time. Again, sometimes the bias in the market is definitely affecting and some trades, but that's fine. That's what's going to happen. You're not going to hold everything for the ultimate tops or bottoms, or sometimes you're not even going to hold it even close to a top or to a bottom there as CCL continues to go. Okay, so I've now decided it looks like the market wants to hold up here a little bit, so we are not going to take Apple out right now, but we are going to take it out if it does break above this 140. I mean, basically where we got out the first time, 144.60. We'll, if we have to take 40 cents on this and give up that whole bottom, then we will do that. We've talked about why we like Apple to the downside here. It just looks like it's trying to hold out, so that's a name that we're willing to hold on to here, just in case there's a little bit of trouble. We want to get out because we're long XOM, we are long Palantir, and if Apple breaks back above, which it looks like it's trying to do here on a little bit of a stronger NASDAQ than I had thought. Not than I thought. I mean, we called the NASDAQ to the downside. It's down 1.34. When we talked about it, it was only down 0.9. So a nice move to the downside there. NVIDIA coming to the downside. Palantir trying to bounce. So I'm thinking, just looking around, some of these levels are starting to hold. So let's see what happens when we get back from Brendan. We'll see where some of these names are. Take it away at the big screen.
Hey guys, yeah, it's all about growth, tech and growth. The only things really limiting the overall market here, you can see, as you were saying there, Sean, the composite, the 100, NASDAQ, both 1+% to the downside. 0.25% for the S&P in negative territory. The Dow, though, nicely higher. Look at the Russell as well. Right out of the gate, small caps, very, very strong. 0.5% for the Russell, back to the upside. Here in Toronto, we're positive as well. Some energy stocks leading, obviously, with a big move in crude oil. There we go. Thank you, tablet. Coinbase, guys. A couple things we were talking about in the pre-market here. Coinbase was on the list this morning. A little negativity coming in after the weekend, but through some support levels from Friday on coin. Airbnb, yeah, much to do about, not too much, I guess, all the way down to 172, which corresponds with some of these levels from back on Friday as well. For Airbnb, guys, back to you.
Much to do about not too much. I like that one there.
Isn't it much to do about nothing?
It is, and that's what I think he was just trying to make a play on that one. So yeah, we don't know what's going on there with Airbnb. I mean, that's a name that I like to buy, like we talked about on any kind of weakness. We will buy some Airbnb. I think that's a name that needs to get looked at for sure. We did take one last stab here on Palantir. It's getting ready to tip down, but our average price right now 41. Just giving everybody an update.
Yeah, and look, we talked a little bit about AMD off of the open. I want to revisit that because I said candidly that I would search for a dip buy at 1 to 102.5 instead of the 104.50 break, and we looked at that in the 15-minute chart. And it looks good. It looked good for that breakout. So I probably should break down. Probably should have had it. We're holding up well above that 102.5. We're about $1 above it, and kind of consolidating. And 1.3 in the NASDAQ and. I'm not sure we get there on AMD, sort of what I'm getting at here. You do have this low from the 22nd. That's, of course, mid last week. Maybe it's going to be 103 that holds up. I'm trying to be very, very patient with this name, but my patience is starting to run thin. Tesla, Tesla continues to look relatively strong. I want to get the update from Ms. V on how her trading is going there. And I want to see if we can't, like I said, if we hold this higher low throughout this move in the NASDAQ, then I really feel like Tesla's going to be a buy, sort of in front of that 765, which is the top end of that support range that I liked. Sometimes I like to wait for it to get into that 60 to 65. Told you guys 62.5 in the middle. We might have to buy a couple of bucks in front of that 765 level before this one gets too far away from us. And I don't want to get away from a firm. It is now testing that 130 level. It's bounced once, 129.96. So it's my turn to maybe take my short on a firm. So pray for me. Brenda, what's up?
Along the lines of reopening, yeah, it was Piper Sandler. I was just noting there's a couple of retailers showing some strength here, guys. Piper Sandler out with a price target increase on Best Buy today, 5.2%. Straight to the upside for Best Buy. And then if you add a B, so BBY is Best Buy, BBBY, Bed Bath & Beyond up 3.5% as well.
Which one of them's reporting?
Yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond reports at some point there, but Best Buy, nice little bottom there on that name. Yeah, congratulations to anybody into Best Buy. That's been a nice mover, but it did have some problems here, BBBY. Oops, that's Bed Bath & Beyond. Actually, you know what? I don't even look at Bed Bath & Beyond anyways. They report, we do like them. I think they have a big opportunity to beat their coming, I think it's, I'm going to say Tuesday. Is it tomorrow or it might be Wednesday there? Ms. V will have that. A nice move to the upside. Still probably heavily shorted. Maybe we can find out about that. This is a runner here. You might as well get into Bed Bath & Beyond right now. They're going to beat for sure. I think that's why it's up 24.50 right now for BBBY. So watch out for that one. I think that's going to be a strong one. We'll find out the day they report, but I definitely like that. And the short interest is something that's always in consideration for Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah, and first stab here at a firm which is now twice tested 130. I mean, it's setting up. When you get the first push to 96 and then it can't break 129, and then it just goes up to 199.99, so that's the second test right at that 130 level. It is primed to break out a little bit. Now, I'm going to stop out at that 130 if it breaks. If it's a failed break, I prefer to just cover and get back in. I don't want to be exposed to the notion that it just goes straight to 131, 132, which if you look at the 15-minute guys, these wicks up here well beyond that. Like that high is a 133 high. So that's why I'm not going to be stubborn about this 130 trade. You want to have that, to me, you want to have the tighter stop. And then if it's a failed move, you can always just sort of jump right back in, which it might be. We'll see what happens. I want to see some offer holding, which you're trying to do. So if I get a chance to jump back into it, essentially almost near the same prices, which I just did. So it broke 130, failed to break. I can get back in at 81s. And the thing is, if that move goes and it's stirring at 131, you're holding on to it, you're losing 2, 3, 4x, whatever you were from a gross level. But sometimes you can just jump right back in at the same price if it is that failed break. So rather than having to hold through and then just sort of gamble that you've got the right price, I'll let it break and then jump back into the trade, which so far is okay, but I got 129.81. We give this to the new high of the day, which is just above that 130 and a quarter. 130.16, I'll go 130 and a quarter because I like rounding up on those. I'll probably have to cover some 128 in front of 128.5 because that seems like the first obvious support.
Yeah, 24. You know what? I'm going to take a breakout here on Bed Bath & Beyond for sure. Yeah, so Brendan's got it to us 20% short, so the short interest still involved in this name. And then you're going to just break a multi-day high here of 24.50. So let's get into this one, the report on the 30th. So I'm super excited about Bed Bath & Beyond. I just think that they've sort of revamped some of their stores here and in the retail push to the upside right now. I mean, we could check out Macy's. I mean, just check out Macy's here. Yeah, that's off right now at not all-time highs, but at recent highs as well for Macy's. I believe it's a new 52-week high. When the chart will load, you'll see how strong some of these names are. Look at Macy's. That's still not, yeah, there we go. That's reload. Macy's today, 23.80, so that's going to be right. And then look at the day chart. Bang, to the upside. So retail really strong right now. Have no problems taking that Bed Bath & Beyond. Okay, there goes Apple out. So that's okay, man. We still like this trade. We're still happy with it. It does come out there at 144.60 like we mentioned. Hopefully that can spark our Palantir trade, which is starting to run a little bit right now. So look, we went short there. We didn't cash out at the very bottom. We did talk about that and the risk that I was willing to take on that trade. But hey, man, still a win is a win. We'll take that times 2 right there, and we'll watch out for Palantir now, hopefully trying to battle back off those same bottoms, right? Look at the NASDAQ starting to go now. Did we miss an opportunity to buy some bottoms? No, but we'll wait to see what happens now. You know, could rally upside for a little bit now. So what's my position on Palantir? 41. So we're back to flat. We can get anything out here, 47.48, right near this spot. That's how we'll do it. You guys know we like to scalp Palantir, and then anything at 27.60 would be a good out, and if we can get back around here, then that'd be fantastic. So right now, Palantir's starting to make a move back to the upside. We're long 41s. We talked about where we'd get out, and it did hold that. So if we can get out right now, anywhere around 47.48, I'll consider that a win for now on PLTR.
Yeah, and we got a firm testing that 129 back down towards that 129. But now looking at QuantumScape, thank you guys for pointing this one out here. You had this is not too different from Cassava Sciences in terms of the volatility and the move that it's put in. So I should show you this first. Anytime you talk about QuantumScape or Cassava Sciences, always look at the daily chart to see just how far it's come and what your potential risk is, and when it comes to volatility. So with that out of the way, I do want to go to the 15-minute, show you guys breakout 28. It tried to anyways on Friday, and then comes right back into the downside, holding a 27.75. That's your key level. We're getting very, very close to it. And that's why when you guys look at this high here at 27.50, good to go back to that Thursday and see the 75 level. That's the area of interest for me. I would let it break 27.50 and forget about that double top. Let it fail break through 27.50, test that Thursday high at 75, and if that fails, then you've just trapped a bunch of 27.50 longs, and then the short is even better, guys. So I'd wait a little bit on QuantumScape here. I have not been purposefully ignoring PALT, but as you know, when the market's moving like this, I went around to Affirm, Tesla. This one is just sort of fading here. It has bounced off 460. I have not been able to add to this position or take any more off. It either breaks 450, I get more shares out to the downside, or I can get back in at that 515 area. Like I said, every now and then with something like an Affirm, if you had just gone with the approach of holding the initial trade through the break, it's a better result than what I've got because you don't take a hit and then get back into it. But I prefer that approach. I think when it goes absolutely ballistic on you, you're going to lose less money. And I always try to mitigate risk that way. There is a downside to mitigating risk is you give up some growth, which I obviously did here. Now, if we pull back to, if I think I'm bullish on the stock, which I kind of am, obviously, I've talked about it all last week, but if I'm going to be bullish on the stock, I'm going to be very, very conservative when it comes to targets on the short, and that'll be around VWAP or at least in front of it. So I'm shooting 127.5 to cover the rest of this trade. If it breaks 128, I'll likely put a trailing stop in so that I can't lose any money on the trade, but let's see what happens here. Affirm, relatively strong. Market trying to bounce here, but we're playing off that 130 level, that lower high that got put in. So decent trade here. It could have been better, of course, if I just held the original short, which I decided not to do. And one more for you, that PHCF, still in it, still won't break 285. So I feel like when 285 goes, now that it's a double bottom, it's likely to have some momentum. So no need to have a bid down here. If it breaks, I can probably eke an extra 10 pennies out of it pretty quickly before I start taking any off. So I'll push that down in front of the quarters. You see me put my bid in there live. And we will come back over to Tesla because this is a name that I feel like could be relatively strong. The market trying to get off its schneid. Tesla actually holding a higher low. I would like it much better at 770 in front of that 765 pre-market low, but it's running out of time to give me that dip buy. It's coming into it right now. So if I can catch some 770s, I was short at the top on Tesla. Now I'm just going to go long off of the bottom. So if I play inside of the range and win both ways, I guess I'll be pretty fortunate. A lot of times that doesn't work. You want to pick a direction, but Tesla, relative strength, market getting back up. That's why I like to buy. I'll give it to that low of the day, 768 and change.
I got you, Sydney. I got you, Sydney. Here we got APOP right now. Select is Select Biotech right now halted. So yeah, we got you, and we will watch that. So Select right now, APOP. Just letting Neil finish there, right up to these levels where we were, and it's a good call at those 930 highs. But again, it's halted because I would guess volatility halt. I mean, this is just a 1 minute chart here, and you can see the upside move that we just had there on this name. So I definitely think that there's something here on this, but nice little volatility halt. Right up to 28 and change. Again, if you're in this halt and you're long or whatever you happen to be right now in this name, just be very, very careful. It could easily pop to the upside right now because it's right at this key level. And then where to get out? I mean, I still think a 32, 33 level. You never want to try. I mean, look, it's nice to get the very tops and very bottoms on these moves, but I think something we're in between may be worth looking at. But let's go to Brendan, who might have something on this. What's up?
Yeah, so they approved their merger, guys. They're merging with this QON Pharmaceuticals. Be very careful with this. I'll direct your attention up here. 944,000 share free float on APOP. Yeah, not even 1 million shares available on that one.
That might explain why it's $1.25 per share to go short in that name. So
Shout out to Arun.
well, I mean, he's obviously not going to pay that.
Right.
That goes without saying, because everyone doesn't pay for shorts. We've been through that certainly before. I'll be watching it, but the market goes down and Tesla goes up. And I'm like, okay, it's got relative strength. The market starts to level off a little bit there, and Tesla testing those lows. So we'll see how this all plays out. I thought it was relative strength. We just held the pre-market lows. I'm definitely going to take some out in front of VWAP, essentially at the same price where I thought we'd check up before, which was this level here where we broke out 772.5, and then had a bit of a dip by there at the open. I decided to cover there. It broke even lower. So first leg out here, 772.50, and then see if we can't play inside of the range another time here. Now, just because I'm not going to trade not going to pay the short on APOP just yet, doesn't mean you don't want to plan for that action. Because I'll tell you right now, if it gets up to 35, I'll probably want to pay that $1.25 and then be looking to see if you can't fade that level. And if it breaks out and you start thinking about $40 and $50 moves and crazy action because it's that thin, then it becomes a halt reopen style opportunity for me, and I would pay that $1.25. I just want to see it open up and see how either strong or weak it's going to be. And if it's weak off that open, then to me it's not worth the $1.25. If it's strong, I would reconsider that choice.
Yeah, so 294.47 here on Microsoft. We'll see about taking a little bit of a trade on this one if it breaks to the downside here. 294.50, sorry, on Microsoft if it breaks to the downside. If it goes to the downside, we'll look at this one for sure. I don't mind this play. We'll see about Microsoft right now. Trying to battle near the top. We can look at Apple as well. I mean, I hate shorting these names, but see how Apple's retraced nicely all the way back to 145. And I'm just looking here at Softy, not really having the same love right now, down that 1.5. So that's a little bit. What was Apple even down right there? Okay, so we're actually, is that right? 1.15. Okay, all right. So I guess we're good. Charts doing really nice here. So that's good. Can't complain. Okay, so they're actually down the same. Sorry, I thought Microsoft was down a little bit more than Apple, which it is, but not by much. 157 versus 137. So you're not really playing with as much fire as I thought. But again, on a nice little bump up here for NASDAQ, let's see if it holds. We can play in a range right now. So this breaks to the downside. We'll see about catching a 50-cent bid down to 294. But we could also break to the high side here of 295. So I think I want to take this both ways, man. We'll take a break of 295 or a short of 294. Microsoft's not going to sit here all day, so we're going to look at that one for sure. And there goes Palantir, 11 cents in the money. Buy. Whenever you buy lower than where you're getting out, it's a successful trade. We're going to hold out for the high, though, here on Microsoft, or on Palantir. Not the high, but let's see if we can get at least into the 60s here, then hopefully 70, 75 for a spot for me on Palantir. But I don't want to have Microsoft get away from me too much. 295 break, I don't mind. I'm actually holding out. I would rather take a 294.50 short as the bias to the market for me is to the short side. How bad was that CCL out? Pretty bad because it goes to 27.40, but right now we're starting to fade back in just a little bit here, so we're going to watch out for that. And then one more trade before we go back, check in on what your Tesla's doing. I'm sure it's not doing anything as the market's not, but I know that's not been the case for Best Buy here, or for Apple, sorry, or for Tesla. Best Buy, Apple, Tesla, where are we? 24.50, a nice stop there. I want to pick up some Bed Bath & Beyond on the move down, but someone who knows where he is all the time is Brendan. What's up, bud?
Just watching AMC, guys. Heads up on meme stocks. I just saw this headline. U.S. Security and Exchange Commission says it has charged officially 2 individuals for fraudulent trading scheme involving meme stocks. Doesn't say what stocks, doesn't say who it is. But does refer to meme stocks, fraudulent trading. Some charges have been laid, apparently.
Well, that's interesting. We knew there was that report that's going to be coming out regarding pay for order flow and GameStop and Burry. Michael Burry, he made that tweet and then he pulls it back. But anyways, we'll see what happens there. I just don't, you said AMC, and the first thing I wanted to look at was, okay, well, did GameStop make a bit of a move? And it's actually bouncing. So GameStop just bounced $1.50 at the same time as that news came out? I don't know. You asked what Tesla was doing? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
20 cents out of the money, it goes like 30 cents in the money. I don't know. Tesla's making absolutely no moves whatsoever. That APOP, for you guys that are watching it, it does reopen. It's not doing it. Like, I'm glad I didn't pay for the short here. Doing absolutely nothing. It goes up $1, it comes down, less than $1 off the reopen. So the volatility not even that fantastic here when you look at that name. So I'm now looking at that GameStop. It's all of a sudden on my radar. It was relatively weak, and again, it had a tight range in last week's action. But look at this 184 bottom that it has Friday and then the beginning of the week as well. Whoops, Affirm. I don't know why it just reversed into a long. So the first half we take a winner on. The second half will go to the high of the day. I probably shouldn't have reversed into a long. That's why I just got flat there. But GameStop, like I said, 184. This is a bottom from Monday of last week. This is a bottom from Friday at that 184 level. Looks like it's finding some support at that particular price. If it ever broke 184, that would be a short for me on GameStop. So I hate to say that for you guys that are looking at it. But it's got room to the 50 period at 180 and then down to this 177 wick bottom. So it could be under pressure. Obviously not much happening here. It actually moved up on that headline, up 1%. But 184 is a big monster level on GameStop. That's on my radar for a short.
Yeah, and here we go. This was 20 cents in the money, Palantir. We didn't take it out. We were waiting at 54. Believe it or not, it gets to 52. So we'll still wait for 54's upside there. This break was 56, 57. So we thought we'd get in front of 55 there, and we missed it by a couple pennies. But right now, Palantir making some nice moves for sure back to the upside. So there's that play. Oh, and we're into another one here. We're gonna get out if this breaks through 23.95. This was small. We thought we'd hold out for this 24 bid. I'm seeing this down here actually. This is not a huge position. So let's go back into some more here on BBBY. We'll just average in here. I was just noticing this level. If it looks like it's going to fall back down. I mean, I like this trade, but it doesn't look like it's going to work. So 23. I mean, what's a little bit lower than this, like 79-ish or so we're going to get out. So this could be one of our losers here coming on board now for Bed Bath & Beyond. Averaging a little bit if we can get it now. We just got it. So now we have this bid into here, trying to hold out for this. A nice little drop to the downside there. Got a little carried away when I heard memes there. I was hoping that all meme stocks were running, but it was actually the opposite way, where now you're getting subpoenas and things like that about these stocks. So not that Bed Bath & Beyond is one, but we know that how it moves, it can do those moves because of the short float. So we will look out for that. RCAT keeps coming close, man, to getting us out, but it doesn't do that move. So right now we're kind of just chilling on RCAT. We don't have too much to worry about. It does make that bottom move. We're still going to wait for it all the way down here, not averaging in, just waiting for that one more moonshot back up to $4 and change. There goes Bed Bath & Beyond. It looks like it was a nice average in. We'll wait to see if it's going to work. We're only 5 pennies out of the money now, but we're still hoping out. If we can get something in here, 24.25, bring this back. Our average price now is 06, so we can see where that runs from here, but that's a nice trade. AMD probably running a little bit now. We like AMD. And then Palantir is trying to go as well. Long Palantir, 27.33. Let's see if we get going to the upside.
And so I kind of said it under my breath, oh goodness, a Lucid making a power moves up to 27. Now, remember the double top at 28. That's a big level. I know Sean and I were both shorting off of that level. So when in doubt, zoom out. That's why I wanted to show it to you here. If you're long this name on the break, congratulations, 26 break. But just watch for that 28 to be another rejection or potential rejection. I shouldn't say rejection. It hasn't happened just yet. Palantir moves up. Tesla actually looks like it's zooming up, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So kind of figure. I mean, I saw Tesla bounce. I know NASDAQ is now beneath 1% to the downside, so I figured it had to be going up too. Like I said, 772.5. I'll try to take out here a couple of bucks and then hang on to the rest on Tesla. The same thing we did with the short. Got into the short the first time too early. The dip buy, we at least were patient and waiting for that one on Tesla. Let's see if it can run. That GameStop, I don't know, you said Bed Bath & Beyond wasn't going. GameStop it's now $6 to the upside since Brendan brought that story. So GameStop has decided to run on that news regardless. So at 184, I wanted it for a breakdown. Obviously, it's fantastic support, and they're liking that headline. Brendan, in the small cap recap, let's go.
Hey guys, yeah, a few things to discuss. Let's jump right into what we were talking about just before the open here. PHCF. I mentioned just before the open I'd be done with this in front of 3, and I was. 3 an obvious support level here on the daily chart, so gets down to 3, you get out of the way, but took 2 shots at that after that nice spike to the upside. Doesn't come anywhere near 4. Side note, guys, don't know if you noticed this yet, but if you have charts linked now on our platform, you draw a line on one, it automatically shows up on both of them. So I'm very excited about that. Let's move on. PALT, 540 and then 580 was a little bit of a pivot in the pre-market. That ends up working quite nicely all the way down to 4.5 at the low. It's trying to bounce as well. On PALT, BBIG waited for the fail at pre-market highs and then gave you a nice opportunity down through 7 even, guys, for small caps. Back over to you.
All right.
So I'm patient with Cassava Sciences, and then this is what it does. I mean, I said I would wait for 68 to 70 area. You have Friday's high here at 60, close to 67. Looks like 67 is the line in the sand, at least for now. So you're still in an upward trend in Sava, but yeah, I mean, as I say that, it's trying to break that, I guess that opening range top here at 65.5. If it does break and hold below that price, the trend is pretty much broken. Halfway too broken, and I would have missed my opportunity. Still has a chance to break out to the high of the day, at which point that $2 range that I like is going to come into play. I keep saying Tesla's not doing anything, but it just made a consolidation off 772, and like I said, the market getting back to that 1%-ish mark on the NASDAQ after threatening even lower. So I'm not going to adjust anything with Tesla here. I'm just going to still take it out 772.5, or some of it 772.5, and then see if we can hold on to the rest. That APOP, for those of you guys that are looking at it, and I'm really, really glad we didn't pay for shorts here. It halts to the upside. Now it's doing nothing. So it does look, the longer it holds, I guess, this 27 area, which has been a bit of a bottom since the reopen, the better chance that you can make a secondary breakout. And if it does do that, watch out for a 30 even break. That could take you up to that 30 level. We'll go ahead and do this one for Tesla because every now and then it's playing inside of the range. For a wild day, to be able to short Tesla off the high and then long it off the bottom, and both of them are going to work out, okay, I'll take that every chance you get. So the deeper dip buy never happened because of that relative strength. We're able to still short it off of the 780 level and now long in front of that low of the day. I want to see if I can hold the second half of that till that high. So somewhere between 776 and 779, in that range is where I'd love to see this go. Market is rebounding here. Tesla had relative strength to open it up. Let's see if it can continue that trend. That'd be fantastic. Lucid, and we had just said caution anyone holding that long. Remember that 28 double top. So yes, if you've got it, that's an awesome trade. I don't know why we weren't looking. I don't know why I wasn't looking at Lucid, knowing how good it was in terms of volatility last week. But I'm sitting this one out until we either dip way, way down back towards that 26, 25, or all the way up to that 28 level. Not going to play the middle. I want to make sure we're getting a level in front where I know I'm wrong. Short in front of 28 makes sense to me because it was so good before. And then the long in front of that 26, which was a jailbreak. You can probably call it 26.20, the pre-market high level. Look at all the consolidation down here before breaking out a second time. So if it goes down another $1, I'll pick some Lucid up. But until then, let's be patient with Lucid.
Yeah, we're not going to be super, super patient here with Alibaba. We're going to go short right now on Alibaba as it does make a big move to the upside, up that 1.23% as the NASDAQ on a beautiful rebound as well. And if I'm going to go short something, I think for now we'll stick with the Chinese names. And if it takes out the top here, then we're assuming NASDAQ's going to run, and that's that. So let's wait to see what happens now with Alibaba going to the upside. Now looks like it wants to. So I'll average in here. We'll take another spot here like 147 and change. The high of the day, 147.50. A 20-minute chart, we're back into this area of 148. We talked about wanting to short the pops here on this name, so that's sort of what we're going to do here. 148 has been the high, so I'm going to average this into 148 right now. So 148, well, like I said, we'll let Alibaba go up a little bit here. Next spot to average about here, 147, like almost near the day's high. Like I want to be, if I'm going to be wrong in this, like I really want to be wrong up to that 148. So I'm not just going to say, oh, I'm going to get out. Like you can't take out Alibaba 20 cents, things like that. That's going to be silly. So we're going to wait to see here how far Alibaba wants to go upside. Hopefully not too much more because we're already in position. So we'll wait to see where it goes. That's Alibaba. Palantir, we did get our 54s. It does go to 60. Look where it stops right there at VWAP. I actually had an offer at 69 right into here. So we'll wait to see if that happens up to 70. But it looks like that 60 should have been taken. And again, nice average back down there when people were screaming about Palantir to the downside. Sometimes you got to be level-headed and just take the trade when you see it. And so that was it down there. We like that. We talked about Fisker earlier today as well, as that was starting to make a move. Recently back up to 15 and change. So Fisker right now, nice move. We actually tweeted that out earlier, and we actually put a nice little, it wasn't nice. It's a very, very basic chart here, but this is what we talked about with Fisker earlier. We said, looking at this chart, I really like Fisker here making bottoms around that 13 level. So right now we have to watch out for Fisker as it looks like it's trying to make a move here off these bottoms into this area that we were last time. Let's see if we get a bump above 17 for Fisker. That should spark that name. So we are looking for Fisker to make that move as well. I like this name. You talked about Lucid. I do like Fisker as well.
I don't love Lucid. I like to trade Lucid. I should say that. And we should always clarify that. AMD, right back. So you get like 102.50, like I said, it's not going to happen. 103.5 looks like the bottom has been made in AMD. Now we're testing off the high of the day. The market, like you said, trying to get back off of the schneid here. Just worth noting, it is consolidating off that high. I do like a chance that maybe if you hold the pre-market lows from before, this move isn't done. Like I said, with Tesla, we're now in the money about $4, but I want to give that one at least $2 or $3 more before we consider covering it. I'm still holding this PHCF. Completely refuses to break this 285. Hold below 285. It did break it, got down like 4 pennies. There's no reason to cover this trade. This is the second time we've gotten in. We got the $3 break. We had the short at 345 earlier. So that one's still hanging on for dear life. And the same thing with that PALT. To bring you guys back into Lucid, which we just mentioned, it's turning back well shy of that 28 level. Like I said, I would buy the dip in front of 26 to 26 and 26 and a quarter. And Tesla, we can do this for Tesla. We're pretty happy about it. It's been one of these so far, but it's getting a little close at 775. And look, the market, to show you guys what the market's doing here. I mean, the NASDAQ got off the bottom and is trying to break through what was a support level. And again, I'm not necessarily a room, but I can show you, 15,175 to 15,2 here on the NASDAQ. And then we're sort of holding that level or just below that level for a few minutes now. And I think that's why. So I might have to consolidate before it breaks any higher. I love what's happening with the recovery. It's, again, you have like what seemed like a doom and gloom day, and then you're finding a bottom a little bit sooner than you anticipated. One name which I know I didn't forget about, but I certainly missed out on, that's going to be Southwest. And we talked about the travel names. And then you watch Southwest break that 53.50 level, which is right here on the daily chart, continuing its run to the upside. I don't know where the top is going to be on Southwest. It was just too thinly traded, in my opinion, to take that breakout in the pre-market. There was not even a lot of volume at the open, but it does give you that clean dollar. It's now retraced halfway, so that may be a case of something it is done. Oh, there goes Tesla. I almost got filled there. Why did I not get filled? Come on, Tesla. Oh, there we go.
Dark pools, maybe.
No, it's okay. So anyways, that's just... Oh, Sean's absolutely right. Like, it wicked up, and I looked over at my chart, and I was like, wait a minute. I should have been filled on Tesla there. And then I was like, no, it actually hadn't. I looked at the level 2, and it was maybe like pennies away from me actually getting the fill. And then we go 777. I've just got out in front of it, 776.94. So once again, Tesla, the gift that keeps on giving. I hope Ms. V is having as much fun with Tesla. Sometimes it's trades in the range and you don't even get the breakout and you can take advantage of it. That is going to be the case for me here in Tesla, which for now is my #1 stock. We'll see what happens by the end of the day. Still a chance, and I'm proud of myself. Every time I don't force a trade in Cassava Sciences or something like it, I'm proud of myself. I think it's still looking like it might make another push to the high side, and I think if it gets to that 68 to 70, I will not hesitate to at least look for that short entry point. QuantumScape was another name that we mentioned. This is getting much more interesting than Cassava Sciences because look what's happening at the top of QuantumScape. 27.5, 1, 2, breaks, comes right back in. It's setting up for a bit of a breakout, and this is QuantumScape on the daily. It's got some room to next resistance, which is at 32. So I think that's a little more interesting than Cassava Sciences. Certainly you have to watch out for Friday's highs, but that's a good dollar break if this 27.50 does go. Brendo?
It is 10:30, guys. Not today, but coming up tomorrow, about now-ish. Yeah, he's back. Mr. Wonderful coming back to talk about immutable holdings, blockchain related. Another company, Kevin O'Leary, taking public tomorrow. Immutable Holdings going to be on the show. CEO will be with us as well to discuss that company and blockchain related type topics, guys. So come back about this time tomorrow for Kevin O'Leary. In the meantime, let's get a check of how things in Europe are shaping up today. Miss V, what's up?
Hey Brendan, European markets are positive today. Office rental company IWG trading in London is up more than 6% after reports that it's exploring a multi-billion pound breakup that would involve splitting it into several companies. Back to you.
Yeah, trying to hold on to, well, we're exactly flat right now. I was going to say trying to hold on to some gains, but back to the upside here as well, guys.
Yep. Back to the upside. Ooh, what happened to, oh, nothing. Okay. I was just saying, what happened to Alibaba? But nothing happened to Alibaba. We still are short that name. We're watching to see what happened. I thought it We almost got filled there. Oh no, 140. I was at 147.20, but it must have not gone up there. Okay, so that's what it was. That's just a bad wick there. So nothing happening there on that one. We got impatient a little bit with, not impatient, but we're noticing this trade here for us on Palantir, and then we were just like, you know what, man? I don't know if this is going to be the ripper that we want it to be. I mean, I'm happy with it, so we'll wait for it right now. But Palantir, we did take some out at 48, so we only have 20% left of the less than 20% left of this position as we emptied it out. The NASDAQ's starting to run here. We're happy with our position here on Alibaba. So on Palantir. Let's wait to see if that bottom does wind up holding there for that one. I wish I had more to say about RCAT, but right now it's kind of not doing anything. So we're waiting on this to see if it has any moves. It's right back to $4. We're still long right here. We were long early. Let's see if it can hold out right now. RCAT to the upside. Hopefully that can do something. Fisker still trying to go. Some of the marijuana stocks we can have a quick look at here as well.
ACB reports tonight.
I mean, ACB is a lost cause, but yeah, they report they are going to spurn hopefully some movement here. As some of these names, they're going to need more than earnings, like we say on the show. But right now, Tilray trying to get off the bottom here, very very similar to CGC. I always like to fade any of these moves. 2% is not enough for me to get excited to say let's sell this. So right now we're just ignoring Tilray. But if it gets going up like 5 or 6, 7%, then we have to short these names, man. I think you got to short every marijuana name.
And speaking of shorts, didn't short Snapchat today, but thank you guys in the chat for pointing this one out because that's a rollover. Now, he had a big breakout on Snapchat. Literally on Friday, it had an $80 break, right? $80 takes it 83.5. It showed all kinds of strength. And now you're getting a flush right down to that price with the market trying to base out at the bottom here. Now, this is not the cleanest looking chart, so I needed to consolidate longer. It doesn't set up that well looking for that 80 even break, but it's all over my radar here. And I just want to check back in on that one. And Tesla probably got out too early, but if you're trading inside of the range, I expected it would kind of hold up a lower high. Clearly, that has not happened. Now it's breaking 780. So I didn't hold on to Tesla. Fine. We said we trade inside of the range. If it gets to 787, that was the level that I'm looking for as a possible resistance level to see if we can't get that one. So if it goes up $5 or $6, you might see me try a short trade in Tesla one more time, and that's the price I'd be looking for. Affirm. I waited for 130 for the short trade. You can see a mixed result here. It got that move down to 128.5, got some out, and then got out. We got stopped out. It hasn't even budged. It's broken that range on the downside by nothing, essentially like 5 or 10 cents, and then to the upside by about 20 or 30. So Affirm is still very, very strong. It's up that 5%. You're getting very, very close to Friday's highs, which a lot of time spent in the 131, 132 range. There was a wick up to 133. This is my 15-minute chart here, guys. So it does look like Affirm is going to at least test those highs, showing all kinds of strength. Tesla, right back below that 780. If it dips down again, and the market is holding up still better than 1% on the NASDAQ, I got to feel like it's going to be a dip buy at a higher level, at least for me. I don't want to be forcing the trade on it. That Vizio that Brendan brought to us is on our watch list, by the way, Vizio here, VZIO. Still, and again, we said this one was one that wouldn't do a lot of pre-market volume. You might want to wait for it. It's holding nowhere close to that 20 level for buy support, but it's still holding the top end of the range, 22, a big level on the daily chart. That has a chance to break out. This could be one for lunchtime when Memes and Movers is on. This could be one for the power hour when we come back at the end of the show. But one thing you never want to do is ignore the names from the watch list. Sometimes those levels will hold up really well, and then the trade comes later on in the session. So that's why we go through the entire process and give you everything you want to look at, or at least that we want to look at throughout the rest of the day. And last one, only because I haven't mentioned it today, and if I did, I don't remember mentioning it, but SoFi, why did I not? Here we go. SoFi, kind of consolidating and setting up here. Now, it fell off the open about a good $1 or so, but like the rest of the market, it's rebounded. Now you're going to get a tight consolidation around this 1730 range. Just going to the daily chart, you kind of see what we're dealing with here. You've got an $18 level, which stands out like a sore thumb, but you can't get to 18 unless the 1730 breaks, and this is why this level matters. Friday, dip into 1735 and then held up into the open, and then you go back into Thursday, that was your resistance level. So if we can get through this, I think we're testing that 18 area at least at some point today, and we like to break out through 18 on SoFi. I just might have a scalp trade in front of it in case we break that 1730 area.
All right, Peloton. Yeah, we'll look at Peloton. I'm just looking at the chat here, see if there's any ideas you guys want us to focus on right now. Okay, so right now, okay, oh, here, new trade. So this is a new trade right now for us. We can make this all back. It looks like hopefully we will. We take the Bed Bath & Beyond there. We take it there again. Then we get out when it breaks through VWAP. Now we just noticed that it breaks off down here at 2350. Holds that level, right? So another key level holding there on Bed Bath & Beyond. We just made a move back up to VWAP. So we'll see about taking some out if we can break through VWAP around 2390 or so, and then hopefully get some acceleration back to the upside. So a new trade here after losing initially there. Probably, I mean, I don't know really why we got out there other than the fact that just nervous about it dropping. We didn't have a bottom, and that's part of it. When you get in, you always have to have an out. So that's what we're looking for right there on Bed Bath & Beyond. We take it out on VWAP, then we notice a bottom. So let's hopefully get this to go back up to the upside. There goes Palantir finally back into the 50s. No offers here. Would like to get out. I even canceled the 69 offer. Let's get out if it rips up to the top here, because you're going to notice something here. Apple does hold, right? Apple holds that bottom. So we get out there. Nice win on Apple. So it's a cash cow right there for us on Apple so far today. And I was almost going to go short again in here up to 146. But the market's been strong. I mean, look at this rebound. Nice little bottom picking there on the market. Almost gets to that 15,000 stops. Now you're back up 15.2. So a nice little 200 point retracement here on Apple. So wow, good bottoms there, 144. Nice out. And I think that's what the market's having a little bit of a problem here, as Apple's still right back into that area. Probably, could be worth a short there, but definitely a risky one on Apple.
Yeah, and you're going to see AMD back into positive territory. I mean, I just noticed Affirm get that 131, Tesla holding that 780. SoFi is getting really, really close to its breakout, or at least potential breakout here, 1730, 1735 area. So we're getting pretty strong in a lot of these names that we're watching. I do come back to Airbnb, if only because yeah, it's not exactly, getting back to that positive territory just yet. I still look at that double top for eventual break at 177, but that's not looking like it's going to happen today. So we'll file that one away for possibly for tomorrow. Yep. I think that could be the trade. Well, I mean, some point this week I should probably say a little bit better there. So Airbnb is still on my radar. Lucid, I still like it for the dip. It's getting actually pretty close to it. It's actually bouncing off of VWAP as we speak, with the market continuing to go a little bit here. I like that. Probably closer to 26 and a quarter or so. That could definitely come into play. And then remember QuantumScape. Not to say that ignoring soft sciences in terms of a mover, but QuantumScape broke that 2750, immediately came back in here. I'm going to like this. And again, I didn't take the breakout on this stock, and it wasn't necessarily that clean anyways, but you're going to get an opportunity here around this 2750 area to dip into a trade. I think you have to give it to 27 on QuantumScape. And yeah, $27 stock, 50 cents worth of risk seems like a lot. But when you look at this support level, resistance level, both 28.50 or so, but $1 higher, next level up about $3 or $2 higher, that's a lot of room to run on QuantumScape. So giving it 50 cents, you got to look at the relative volatility, of which it has a ton. That's why I'm willing to make that trade. Time to head over to Sector Watch, which is looking a heck of a lot better than I assume it would have half an hour ago. Let's go to Brendan at the big screen.
Hey guys, yeah, pretty positive looking board here overall, but we are dead flat for the overall S&P 500. It's a story of two sectors today, the healthcare group and the technology group. You take those two away, the market's having a really, really good day, led by energy and material stocks, nicely higher, both on the session. We talked right out of the gate this morning about the energy group here. It's Oxy leading the way right now. Fang there, Halliburton as well. But go over to the materials group here, FCX, LYB as well, 3 to 4% in positive territory. Also helping, as we said, some of the travel-related names back to the upside. Again, here's all the airlines in the transportation group, about 2.5 to 3% to the upside. Consumer discretionary stocks as well down here. CCL, LVS, MGM, NCLH, Win. The theme continues, 3 to about 5% there for some of the healthcare or travel names, I should say. I'm saying healthcare because I'm looking at this group over here, which is the pharmaceutical names, 5% to the downside for BIO. But this entire sector you can see very negative on the day, helping to offset some of these gains up here, along with the tech sector. So take healthcare, you take tech, you minus that. We're nicely higher on the day. Otherwise, though, dead flat, guys, for the S&P. Back to you.
I was just looking at Caterpillar above 200 because obviously Caterpillar was above 200. Never got a chance to add to that one. Oh, yeah, that stinks. Shoot, I wanted to show a chart of Danaher if I could. That's clearly not my daily chart, having some problems on Danaher. But that stock has come back in $2. And this is one that I've been trying to patiently wait to get in there. I don't know, the daily chart has a crazy wick on it to like 600, which is going to skew it a little bit. If this gets any further, this move to the downside on Danaher, I like it at about $300. We're about halfway there as it just fell $10. This stock has been relatively strong. I like it in the healthcare name. I just got QuantumScapes, the new position alert. I don't know how active I'll be in the last 15-20 minutes of the show. I'm managing PALT, PHCF as well to the short side, and I just got QuantumScape. Tesla is holding up at 780, really stalling out a little bit. Affirm doesn't really get to 133, so I might not have a trade there, but this is what I like about QuantumScape. You give it to this 27 area on a dip, and then you got 2-to-1 to 28, and you can hold on to the second half of the trade. I mean, you could take some out, 27 in front of that 28 level. You can take some out in front of that 28.50 area, and then hold on to the rest, or try to accumulate more shares. Is it possibly heads? And I'll zoom back in here so you can see, towards this 30.31. So QuantumScape, it was a strong stock last week. Want to see if I can play that momentum, but I have to be willing to risk, that 50-cent move. If it breaks 27, fair enough. We'll get out of that stock, and who cares? But at the end of the day, I think the volatility is there. I'd rather go long this thing than Cassava Sciences. Completely unrelated, similar risk profiles, but Cassava Sciences not getting to my target area for entry to a short just yet. It's still setting up that it could make another break and push up to 70 even. That's the one shot I would take short this stock in front of that 70. And there goes Tesla up to 782. I definitely got out too soon here on Tesla, but it was my intention to play the range. We played the range to the short side. We played the range to the long side. Now I'm looking for 787 next resistance on Tesla.
Yeah, and you mentioned getting to a key level or getting to a level that we like there. It was right on point with this Bed Bath & Beyond. It gets right to that level, and we took out a third of the trade that we had on board now. So Bed Bath & Beyond nicely out there. Obviously, with the pullback, wish we would have taken it all out, but that was a nice move. Breaking through VWAP, we waited there, we took it out. So 1/3 out there. We'll hold the next 2/3 for this 50 break. Who knows where that's going to go. We're long at 69 here, so we'll wait on it. We did make back, like if I just got out of everything, we would have made it all back, but we didn't. So there it goes right now. The NASDAQ's still trying to take out some tops. So the most recent position, I just got it right now, was another Alibaba trade. So what we're doing on this is just, I said short the pop, so I'm going to stick with it. Now Palantir now 35 cents in the money, so that's a good one. So we'll do a little belly dance for that. I know it got some good reactions earlier on here, but so far today, we've only missed one stock, and we're only negative on one name here today, and it's position pending on Bed Bath & Beyond. We are going to be negative on whatever this name is, XOM, because we did take some out and it's not really moving as much as we thought here, XOM. So for today, we'll do it anyways because it's been a decently positive day. We have one losing stock. All the rest are part of this. Money, so there you go. So we'll take a little bit of cash on this trade or on the day for sure as we continue to go. But looky right now, guys. You can see you can see to the bottom here, Alibaba trying to come back in now. So maybe we just had a nice little top. I do want to get some out if we can come back in. What's my average price? Only 06. So if we get back here at 80s, we'll take 25 cents. But right now, Alibaba is really my only concern as Palantir starting to go to the upside nicely. So far, so good on that one. Palantir retesting VWAP here. We did have a 69. We pulled it. Let's see if we get back into the 75-ish or so.
And just a couple of names here that we are going to, maybe revisit. It's not necessarily revisiting it, but the Uber making a bit of a break. This is a high of the day break. Now, I'm not taking this. I'm not taking the trade on Uber because look at the volume. You guys can see that. Yeah, look at the volume on this breakout. Like it's slowly dwindling, and I get it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Call it like 5 times before it breaks a 47. That's a random price, 47.10 ish that it's taking out, but not on a ton of volume. So I love the fact that Uber's up. Look, I'm happy about that because now we finally got into position to add more of it. But you do have this level approaching this 48 area, which was a lower high before, and then no volume on this break. It's a time of day where you want to be cautious. Oh, Affirm. Really now? Now Affirm?
Now Affirm.
Now you want to.
Come on, Affirm, now.
Now you want to roll over? Really? Okay. So Affirm decides that 131 is where it wants to go, not 133. Still hasn't had more than like $1.50 to $2 retracement. So very, very strong, up that 5% or so. And Tesla's still holding at 782. Not going to force any trades. I did just get into that QuantumScape. I'll give it that 50 pennies. See if that one can get going. Only because it's a little more volatile, right? And I think that one, if I have to be thinking one of them is going to go, and want to get into it, like I said, QuantumScape is going to be the one. Was a little bit wrong about where to buy the dip on Lucid, and when I say a little bit wrong, it bounces at 26.65. I was waiting 40 cents lower, so that's a lot wrong. Lucid's still very strong. 28, that double top. I will not short anything unless it is that 28 level on Lucid, or at least close to it. That's going to be that line in the sand that we definitely like. So want to wait around for that. And of course, you can't get too far away from what is SoFi. I did like it for that 1730 breakout area. It is now barcoding, which can be a good sign, by the way. Like if it holds here at VWAP 1720, 1725, and does nothing all lunchtime, well, that just could make the breakout even better above this level. So, let's be patient with SoFi. Could be a memes and mover thing. I bet you Trader Prad and Ms. V will be interested in this stock if it goes, and certainly if it hangs around till power hour, I'd be happy to take that trade whenever it does come. No need to force the action here because it feels like the NASDAQ and the overall market kind of deciding its next move. We fell that 1.3%, we came back 0.5%, now we're testing some key levels, and there goes Tesla, $4 away from 787. Just a level I like on that stock.
Like Tesla, yeah, big mover today on Tesla, big mover in the market to the backside. And look at this, how could someone that loves AMD so much like I do, look, we've been talking about this months and months ago when Intel missed. We talked about AMD was going to rip it. That was like 70, 80 bucks. Now you're seeing it at 106 and still making moves to the upside there. AMD, wow. I mean, look at this chart. Straight upside there, like, any sort of weakness. This is the name that I really should be buying on weakness every day. AMD, I mean, it's had a good run the last little bit, man. We tested 100. We ran up to 107. I love that 107 break. It's a multi-day break. It just has to happen. I don't like it today. Maybe today to happen. I'm still bearish on the market, so I don't want to buy anything here. But this brings me to my next point, which is a company that I believe stronger than AMD. I just like AMD's valuation better where they are and where it has to go. But NVIDIA today down here. Let's go. Come on, NVIDIA. Down that 2%, right? So you can see NVIDIA, nice moves off the bottom. Same kind of move there as AMD. But today, AMD recovers the whole way. NVIDIA is still chilling out near the bottom. So we're going to watch out for some NVIDIA strength coming in relative to AMD with only 10 minutes left. So watch out for NVIDIA today. I mean, I still think that we're not going to get a good look on that because of the split, but NVIDIA is still near its all-time highs of 230. So that's still coming into play. I mean, I don't think we're off that. You're only down 15 bucks on 200, right? So, I mean, you're down 3, 4, 5% from its all-time high. No worries on NVIDIA, but I'd like to pick this one up. This is going to be part of the shopping list as well. We got to be very, very specific with what we're trying to buy here because I'm not sure what legs this market has in it right now. Look at Bed Bath & Beyond and coming back upside, not getting out of this one until we're back up here. So we're holding that. This is what I mean by the only red stock that we have on board all day, or we've had all day today, is XOM. It's not moving. We should have reloaded back down here. So another opportunity to get 59. We'll try that. And then right now, position pending is Mr. Baba. We're trying to get out here, 146.80 for at least a piece of it. But hey, it looks like the market's still trying to fly now. So that was, have to watch out for that. And then with only 10 minutes, like we said, left, Microsoft, what a great play that was. We talked about it right down here, 294.50 to go short if that happened. Didn't happen. We've already canceled that offer. Yeah, great level there, but it was even better level to go long. I said we put a 295 break. We didn't do that either. So again, the bias getting the best of me to the short side today, but we're just going to wait for it. I mean, I'm up. I have 0 LFT, which means I'm at the highest spot I've been at all day. With right now, knock on wood. That's okay.
This is real wood now, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, good one. I think oak. Nice wood. Yeah, of course that comes from Robbie. And then to the upside right there, we're still going to watch Bed Bath & Beyond looking to break. And then here comes Alibaba straight back to the downside, hopefully soon as well, 147.06.
So anyways, just back to the Microsoft thing before we go into money talks just for a quick second. One of the reasons we talk through our ideas and talk through the levels, because even if we're going long or short, the levels matter. And if it's a good one and we're like, hey, short below this level, and you're looking and you have a long bias, well, now you have a potential area for a breakout or support. That's why we love going over it. So hopefully you can take advantage of it. time to head to the big screen once again. Brendan's got money talks for us.
Hey guys, yeah, relatively quiet overall in currency land so far today. The dollar index to blame for that. Pretty much flat for the US dollar, so not a heck of a lot going on up here. The Canadian dollar notably a little bit stronger today, back to 79 and change here. We did dip below 79 if you remember once again back on Friday. British pound also higher. Swiss franc, Japanese yen, Australia also in positive territory. New Zealand bucking the trend a little bit. Wanted to mention Ethereum down here because definitely the strongest of the cryptos today. Testing 3150, pulling off notably as we speak, but still 4.5% for Ethereum today, where Bitcoin, Ripple basically flat on the day. If that was, as we said, the China bans cryptocurrency sell-off, then hey, we'll take it because theoretically, guys, they can't do it more than once. Right?
Is that a rhetorical question?
Allegedly.
So I was reading this.
Can't they though?
Apparently it's been banned for years in China. So, I mean, who knows? It's just now they're going to try to find people and like arrest them and things like that. Okay, isn't that the whole point of crypto? Is that there's less government? It's cryptic. You know, there's no intervention, things like that. But that's just whatever. That's for another day. But I believe Bitcoin continues to be strong. And Brendan, you just nailed it right there with Ethereum looking super strong right now. It rips up to 31.30. If you go back over here to a 30-minute chart, just quickly, as I know we're getting ready to wrap up our trading day here, but a nice bottom of 27 hit 1, 2, 3 times, and you rally right back to 32. So crypto's here to stay. I'm sorry to tell everybody that.
And, well, I'm not sorry to say this, but by the way, we have like 5 or 6 minutes before we head over to Memes and Movers. Prad's got a pretty interesting hat there you guys are going to enjoy. So we'll have a quick look when we get to it. Not a heck of a lot in terms of new positions. Like I still have, and by the way, it's not, I never ignore these like small cap stocks that run, but PALT never broke that 460 level. And this is the stock that, whoops. Oh yeah, so there we go. My 15 minutes gone because I don't know what, I guess a chart did crash on me. That's interesting. But anyways, 460 to 480 was the level I was looking. It actually ends up holding the bottom end of that range, so I would alert to this. The volume's still dying down. It never gave me that short again between 510 and 520, but volume dying down here, but it is climbing into the upside. Could set up for a VWAP short, then hold the rest of the day. But that 460 support can't be completely ignored. It looks like it's a tiny bit of a level here. Tesla still churning higher. And I said in the chat, and this is probably a mistake that I made today. I'll think about it this in the afternoon. By paying too much attention to what the market was doing, the futures were doing when I was trading Tesla, I noted the relative strength. But because I played the range for the short side of the trade, the long side, it became easy to do the same thing because the futures were basing it or holding out as a previous support, that 15.2 or 15.17 level on the NASDAQ. And then you have the Tesla breakout. And I did like 787 for a resistance point. Now I'll probably end up shorting that level instead of holding along into it. But Tesla looking ridiculously strong here. Still only up about 1%, but this is in the context of the market being down, so keep that in mind. 787 and 800 look like they're going to get there at some point. Well, 87 today probably. 800, that could be later on in the week.
Bit it. Because right now, the stock that we favor every single day. And Neil mentioned the hat, so we'll do it again. We have our Palantir investor hat right there from Trader Prad. So there it is, man. Investing in Palantir and making money in our own accounts on the day show, on the trading show, and in our own portfolio is Palantir. It comes right back into this level that we're happy with, man. I mean, I was going to wait for this 80 top, but then I was like, no. So we got out there, 71, 72. Hopefully it's not the same mistake we made on CCL as that ripped all the way to 27.40 right now back into where we initially got out. So far so good on that one. And then one last stab right now. I mean, I'm happy for this because I'm a holder, but not happy right now today. As Alibaba, we talked about, this is going to be a negative stock for us. We are short at 147.40, looking for a 148 break. So slightly over 148. And then you can tap us out here on this one. So we'll wait to see what does happen now on Alibaba. Slightly above 148, we're going to tap out like 148.18. So when that comes through, we'll be out of that one. That's going to be a loser for us right now so far. Bed Bath & Beyond still cruising to the high side. And here goes RCAT. Let's see what we have here at 415. Hopefully we could take that out on RCAT right now, 17 cents in the money. So the only worry right now is Alibaba. It's 50 cents out. We'll be able to hold the trade, but unfortunately, that looks like that'll be our one red stock.
And here goes Quantscape towards that 28 level like we talked about there. So we talked about 27.50. I got 55 to the long side. I end up taking out 90s here in front of 28 just because it's running into resistance in the time of day. It's getting slower. And if it bounces to the downside, I want to be able to buy the dip as well. So far it's going to plan. I can definitely take some out another 50 pennies higher if it breaks that 28 in front of 28.5, and then look to see if you can continue this trend. But QS certainly very, very strong. We're holding it at 785 on Tesla. So yes, 785 is obviously, and with only a few minutes to go, I should probably at some point explain why I like 787 a little bit better than just saying I like the level a few times, because 85 would seem more obvious on Tesla, obviously. But if you go back to the last time it broke that 800, this is the daily chart. Look at the next day, that's a high at 787. Now, because our charts are split adjusted, my daily would have to go really, really far back to even try to show you. On the way up to 1,000 before the split, 87 was a level. Then when I see it hold, and look at the return, right? So you get the break up to 800, hold the next day at a high of 787, which was a level a couple of years ago as well. And that's your push down to the double bottom at 540 and the 636 breakout that we loved. So that's why I like 87. It would break 785 to get there, which is the round number. Probably trap some people in a breakout and then reverse at that 787. So that's where I'm looking to short next on Tesla if I get a chance. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. The market's going to do what it's going to do regardless of what I want. So if it turns here, well, I missed the trade, but that's okay because it wasn't the one I wanted.
Oh my God, AMD broke 107. Thanks, Gerben, for that one on the chat there. What an unbelievable runner AMD's been, man. We just put a video out on this one. I've loved AMD for a very, 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 very long time, guys, and really glad to see that this is going to the upside again. We did empty some out, bless you, 117, 119. We'll see if we get back there. Alibaba coming back as well. Good close of the show here. What's up, Brendo?
A few notable earnings coming a little bit later in the week. On the retail side of things, there is two to talk about aftermarket tonight, guys.
Wow, so many names, so many things to talk about.
That's a lot to deal with.
Wow, that's a lot. All right, so Aurora and IHS. So a couple names there. Whoa, hello. Oh yeah, about having a negative stock. What up with that? Let's do a little bit of a backflip now as, here we go. Alibaba, for some reason, just not Tank City right there, but comes right back in and we get a fill. So far so good here on Alibaba, 147.60. We are now short up here. So that was our biggest spot, which is why our average price is now working out for us. There goes Alibaba. Oh, hell yeah. What a great way to end the show there as Alibaba. We'll see if it can flush itself down the toilet, and we won't flush ourselves down right now as there goes Mr. Baba. Let's see how low it can go. We might be able to get out another piece right now. 30 cents in the money for Baba.
And I see in the chat there, so with just under a minute, as Sean mentioned, to go. Las Vegas Sands, someone was talking about this in the chat. We talked about being a great bottom pick in terms of the long-term chart. Certainly looks like it's getting off the schneid today. I'm not there yet. I still think you have some risk, and I still prefer Caesars. But a good look, and congratulations to anyone that caught that one. A lot of people were looking at that on the daily. Miss V, we still got to find out what National Day it is today.
Hey guys, I think it's a wonderful start of this trading week. So many great opportunities on the market. I wish you have a profitable day. I wish you all the luck for the rest of the day. And please don't leave without giving this video a like. Also, me and Prad can't wait you to join Memes and Movers show right after. Just join the link I'm sending on the chat. And of course, at 3:00 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be back to trade Power Hour together. Happy National Chocolate Milk Day, everyone. Do you guys like more strawberry or chocolate milk?
Chocolate.
It's funny that came up because I just bought my kids for the first time because we made some wicked strawberry milkshakes on the weekend, and then we were out traveling around the city there, which we went to a lovely spot out east on Saturday, and we stopped off and got some strawberry milk. And apparently they really like that. I'm not a huge fan of the strawberry milk. I actually I just like plain. I mean, I don't drink too much milk anymore, but as a kid, definitely all over the 1% and 2%. Brendan?
Fun tip, if anyone has a coffee frother in a coffee froth chocolate milk, can't go wrong.
There you go. Why not?
Hot tip.
That's Brendan's all about the tips. He brings you news. He brings you tips. Look, chocolate milk is a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. My daughter is obsessed with it to the point that she gets chocolate milk basically at dinner time. It's the only thing she'll drink.
I mean, kids are supposed to love chocolate milk. So
yeah. How do you not, right? So
make sure you brush your teeth.
It's been a fantastic start to the week. I mean, look, obviously the market is down, but remember, we've recovered 0.5% on the NASDAQ. But I know you guys are excited because lots is moving, which brings us, of course, to Memes and Movers, Trader Pratt and Miss V. Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome to Memes and Movers. I'm your host, Trader Prad. This is the beautiful Miss V here.
Hey guys, welcome back everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. Again, please be active on the chat. Share with us what you trade, what you would love us to look at, and ask us